And here we are.
He already yawning.
Oh man, been busy, busy all day, running around the jobs. Got up early, so
You got your dogs down there with you?
not yet. No, I was gonna stay up there a little bit to bear hunt, but units just keep shutting down, and maybe I'll go down to 27. I don't know. I haven't even checked see if it's shut down yet, so we'll see
Last
what
I checked,
happens.
last I checked, 27 was open, and 34A
Yeah.
and 35.
Yep.
Hey, there's
So I don't
Jeremiah
know.
Fly. You see the picture of Jeremiah's mountain lion he caught?
It's photoshopped AI. I'm just kidding, Jeremiah. Just kidding. Let's
Well,
see.
he chose a really nice looking brute to Photoshop.
You should have sent it to me. Where was it on Facebook?
Yeah.
But here we are. We're back. Thanks to
And
Value
look
Pack
at
Dog Food, of course.
Missy Fix. She hasn't been showing us any videos of those beagle pups tearing everything up.
No, she's been kind of quiet. Everybody been kind of quiet. You know who I haven't got a hold of, and that's Nicholas.
Jared,
No, not Nichols.
Nicholas,
God dang, Isaac.
okay. Yeah.
I wonder if he finished his second book. I want to read his second book. I read his first book. I actually he sent me the audio. So, and I doubt we'll see any of them other Yahoos as far as, oh, you might have sent it to me on Facebook Messenger, Jeremiah. But I think they're all still hunting. Cold Strike Gear, Dustin, and Jared.
Oh yeah, they're still going. They've been catching bears and
Yeah,
Hmm.
they've been
lions,
catching good. Yeah,
probably catching javelina and coyotes and some things
yeah,
they just don't put in their pamphlet.
foxes and mule deer. Type.
Javelina.
Yeah, go to Mindy.
Yep.
Nah, there shouldn't be any cotamundis up there in their country.
Shouldn't be. You never know. Badgers, skunks. I did hear.
Porcupine.
I did hear something about a skunk.
There's Mr.
Look at that
Jeremy.
guy. Look at he's pretending that he's in Arizona. That doesn't look anything like a swamp. Where's your alligator?
I gave it to Chris,
What is it?
my alligator.
Oh yeah, I do. I have it. My
I,
wife. I don't think she likes it as much as I do.
yeah,
Look
I'm
at
trying to figure out why y'all were talking about me before I came on. I hear something about a skunk, then you popped me on.
No, you didn't send it to me, Jeremiah. I didn't see it. So
probably sent it to me.
probably did. Likes you better.
Hey, I'm likable. I can't help it. You need to clean up your act.
That is true. You need to do something with my life. You need, so what you been up to, Benny? You've been gone for a couple weeks. Everybody's gonna
I've
ask.
been I'm cooking. That's all I do. I shop and I cook and I serve and then what happens? I shop, I buy stuff. I cook it. Then I serve it. Now I'm out and I got to go again. And we usually work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Artesia. And this week we're working Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at our regular gig. Then Friday and Saturday at a special event. And then next week it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Artesia. And then we've got to go Friday to the southeast corner. Like if you go 20 yards farther, you're in Texas, that southeast corner. And it's then that Saturday we'll serve for 14 hours. So we've got an Airbnb. We're taking, Diane and I are taking 4 people to help. So they're going to be 6 of us in an Airbnb for 2 nights. So there you go. Tim B's got it all sorted out. He must have had one of these dang slave labor deals before. And the problem,
Yeah,
part of the problem is,
yeah,
uh,
in there.
my brisket is gained in such popularity that I can't keep up hardly. I cooked 7 20-pound briskets Sunday, 6 16, 17-pound briskets Monday, and today I finally got everything processed and bagged and put away. And right in the middle of the state food inspector showing up and wanting to check things out, I thought, well, hell, this is timing.
Gotta love the
So anyway,
inspector.
that's been my life, and I chose it. Cody's right. I get my investment back, I can walk away. And sometime between now and then, I just told my first wife a while ago while I was eating supper, hey, Cody said all they're waiting on is a phone call and a date, and we'll all take a break.
We don't want to swamp. We don't want to swamp them with too much business. And
No,
Yeah,
Vinny, are
no.
you
Aye.
picking up any of famous Watson taco meat?
no, Evan, all we can do is what we can do, and I'm not going to try to elevate my game to that level.
There won't be a red bone left in the state of Arizona.
You know, they're. I just remember Cody when he liked those tacos, but until I was talking about when I bottle my chicken. Sometimes I'll just bottle chicken legs and drumsticks, and I'll just shove them all in the jar and cook them. And I was explaining to him. I think I showed him too, because I had just thrown them in the trash there when I pulled and they're real brittle. You could literally eat the bones; they're so brittle. And Cody, it didn't set right with Cody, and he quit eating tacos.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
But he
Didn't
got
sit
hungry
right
enough.
with,
I did make some tamales while I was there. Some
it
fresh
didn't sit
tamales.
right with Casey either.
Goodness.
Yeah, Casey.
So,
You know, I can
asked him how
take
that bear
down the
fat was.
I can take down the toughest of them all just with some of that 12-year-old meat.
so Jeremiah sent me a video, so I don't know, a video of his.
Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't send it to me. I don't think he did. I'm looking.
You been doing any hunting over there, Jeremy?
No. I
Are
hurt
we getting
my
any
neck.
rain? We got rain. We finally got rain. We got a
It's
lot of
dry
rain.
here. It's dry here.
We got all Jeremy's rain.
We got about 3/4 of an inch last week. That's it.
You know, I got a pot right here by my trailer, and it has about 4 inches of water in it. It had no water in it when I left Friday.
Yeah, I don't know how much rain we got, but it rained for 5 days.
Well, in my parents' yard, you could see where it was running through. Even it rained so hard.
Yeah, we shut down work for 2 extra days because we was flooded out.
Hmm.
The sewers was full. You know what I mean?
We
It's
had we drilled last week. We drilled 7 foot deep, 2 foot round holes, and one of them full of water. So we had to redig
Sounds
them.
like around here.
Yeah, no, we got some rain for sure.
Well,
Definitely
hell,
got some
in
rain.
your country, Jeremy, you dig a hole and the water comes up from the bottom once you get about
You
4
just
foot down.
Yeah, you just pour the bare concrete without any water in it and
Yeah.
Just dump it in the
You
hole.
set
You
on
got
its own.
Got that self-mixing quickcrete right there.
Mm-hmm.
Thing about Arizona, that water be running full blast, 100 cubic feet a second, and then the next day it's gone.
Yep.
You know, but we got enough rain where we got some puddles out there that are still there.
Mhm.
So we needed it. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Last rain we got at work was on Sunday, Sunday morning early, I think, and it it looked like you flood irrigated the whole lot, and we still got like the back corner of the place is still underwater.
Yep. Yeah, we
They
got
were-
we had a job we were supposed to do, and all the footers were supposed to be done last week. And I went over there Monday, and all the footers, all the footer, they were all full of water.
Yeah.
So they got the footers poured last week after a rain, but then when they got it, they had to pull all the rebar out and redo it, clean it out, and then they got the concrete poured, and now that thing's a muddy mess. So
Well, you just tell them, Chris, 2 extra weeks on that job cost them an extra 100,000.
well, it's all right. I got other jobs I got to finish that are behind, so it
Yeah.
helped out. But other than
How'd you
that,
hurt your neck, Jeremy?
Hmm?
How'd you hurt your neck?
Picking up on something too heavy.
Mm.
What are you picking it up with your
Whiskey.
head or your teeth or what?
his teeth.
No, I've had neck
Did it?
surgery before, and I aggravated it.
Ah,
I know. Be careful with that. You gonna be all right?
I think so. It's starting to go away.
yeah, it'll go away till you're 60.
You'll come back. You'll feel it when it rains, when you wake up.
I
when you
already
look
do
back.
that.
Yep. So then,
Hey, what's
That coon light's
your
heavy.
yeah? What's
That's
your
why I don't use a
what's your
bump
topic
cap,
tonight?
Jeremy.
Something about psychology and hound dogs, or
well, I want to. Did any of you guys? Yeah, psychology of dogs, and I want to talk about. Have you guys? Did any of you guys listen to Chris Powell's trophy hunting
I
podcast?
did not.
Yeah, him and Seth Hall. I think Seth Hall. Him and
Yeah,
Seth were
yeah.
talking about trophy hunting. I wanted to
Was
kind of touch on that. Well, just saying that basically he's saying how it's good, and we're afraid of it, and everybody, everybody's afraid to say the word trophy and whatnot.
I
it's
agree
a
with that.
buzzword for the antis.
Well,
Yep.
it's not a cuss word. That's their
No, a
Pee Wee
buzz.
Herman word of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Say it,
a
and everybody's
buzzword.
yes.
B use easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
What they've done is destroyed the word and used it as a weapon.
Oh yeah.
We just
So
gotta
we
take
try
it
not
I
to
was
say
asking.
trophy.
The reason I was asking Rick Cooley's comment there sounds like his ass backwards dry as hell in Kentucky and it's raining in Arizona. So the psychology of a hound dog fits right into Rick's situation right there. So
I knew Cody couldn't withhold.
Hey,
He said,
hey,
"I'm tired
there
tonight."
he is.
I said, "I'm
He is.
just going
He's
to send a
bad.
link."
You'll be
I said,
able to
"I'm gonna
tell
send a
because
link."
when he called me earlier today, I could tell he needed to go to bed.
That's right. I couldn't. I went to lay down in bed, and you sent me that link, and I went, "Son of a gun!"
I said, "If you get bored, jump on. If you get bored."
But it gave me enough time to make up some really good stuff to talk about. So
Oh, we'll listen.
I'll have some good lies for you. What are y'all up to, man?
Same
Not
old.
much.
Benny's cooking. Jeremy's trying to heal his neck, and Derek just smoking a cigarette.
I want to see it. When I logged in, it had like options. You type your name, and then it said you could be the designer of creativity, and I put discoverer of truth just to see if anybody noticed. But y'all all got shit under y'all's name too. Let me see. What'd y'all put?
No, I don't. I don't have nothing.
Benny don't need nothing. Everybody else needs to
Where's
justify
mine?
themselves. Benny don't care.
Yeah.
Mine just says just some guy. I think.
I think it says
Ain't
this
nobody
guy's
special.
gay.
It does. It
It
does
might be
say
that
that.
too.
That's
Yeah.
what it really is.
I'm not from
Oh,
Louisiana.
What's
No, I
the
was
weather
talking
like
about
up
Chris-
there?
Cody,
Oh,
I
it's
need your
nice
help
where I'm
here
at.
'cause
Yeah, it
Rick
ain't bad at
Cooley-
all right here.
Rick Cooley's over there in the sidelines, but Rick got in touch with me here a while back, and he was telling me that it was dry and his dogs couldn't. They were having trouble catching or running or finding a track and all that. And so we discussed the trailing conditions and where to look for a track. And I told him that in the dry country and the desert and stuff, that those dogs will find some scent on a rock or a stick or something that's hard and porous.
They'll lick it.
And
Yes,
and
sir.
if you watch them, they don't truly lick it. They lay their tongue against it and they hydrate that scent, and then they'll set back on it. And so Rick and I said, in the litter of the woods, there's nothing there to hold scent. It just vaporizes. If you could get all the way down into the mud that's wet underneath there, you might find some scent. But he then told me that his dogs started laying their tongue on those rocks and they were trailing in that condition. And I said, well, isn't that awesome? Because you got dogs that know scent, that comprehend scent. And they're not from the desert. They're not, I mean, he's from Kentucky. And so
Yeah.
what about tonight's topic, the psychology of a dog, that dog's sorting that business out and he has that psychology already in there. Well, here's something. What happens maybe it's like the first pendejo that ever licked a Colorado river toad to see what happened and they got high. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I have
what's
some
your
interesting.
spin on that?
I have some interesting thoughts on this, and I'll tell you a little backstory, which got me to thinking about it. So, South Texas running walkers, I'm sure that other dogs across the country are like this as well. But I will take a male dog and I will breed it with a gyp, and I will get a litter of pups, right? And I can name two dogs right now, Stocky and Rose. They're out of Ricochet and Eve. They're litter mates. And Rose will trail and trail and trail. And Stocky is a junk dog. He ain't trailed a lick in his life. He's out looking. He wants that cat. He's jumping that cat. Now, how did two dogs, litter mates, be at opposite end of the spectrum like that? And I think a part of it is just luck of the draw, the way the genetics fell. But, how much of it goes back to when they were 7 months old and I started them and they didn't know what was going on. One day going through the woods, Stocky just happened to step on a bobcat. And then from that day forward, he started doing that and looking and look, how much of it is nature and how much of it is nurture. And I have, over the years, gotten some pot lickers, blue ticks, red ticks, whatever ticks, treeing walkers, dogs that all of y'all would consider cold nose, long eared, track for track dogs. And you bring those pups down here and raise them with my running walkers, and they grow up to be red tick colored running walkers. And it
Kind of like it's you are the company you keep,
yeah,
product of your environment.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's who you learn from. I mean, if you're a carpenter and you show up on a job site, you're going to lay out your studs and cut them and nail them the same way the guy that taught you how to do it did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You hang out with Chris too long and you'll have 9 kids.
Yeah.
Your wife
you
will.
know,
I think there's a lot to that, whether it's the dog they learn from or the environment you put them in. Because like, I don't have desert dogs, but they lick rocks and trail up that wash and trail it out. And these dogs was bred to drift moose scent, and brown bears and then taiga. And I got them down here trailing mountain lions and bobcats in the bottom country. I think it's if you put them in the situation, they got no choice. If they want to find that thing, they're going to try to figure out what works. And dogs are simple equation creatures. It's A plus B equals C. So if something works, they just keep doing it. You know what I mean? I think that
And
has a lot to do with, as long as the instinct to get the critter is in there, they'll figure out what works, where they're at, or who they're with.
I got a dog from Brett one time. He's not on here by chance, is he?
No.
I'd
Y'all
seen
seen
him.
him? Not that it's because I want to cuss him, but but since he's not here, let me tell you about old Brett. I can't remember that dog's name. I think it was Al, but he sent that dog down here, and it ended up getting killed. And I remember thinking, oh man, I'm going to get this dog from Brett and it's going to be too cold and I'm not going to want to mess with it. And yeah, Casey's about right. I've known some psychopath hunters too while I was at it. Some of couple of them for over there around Young, Arizona. God dang, y'all better watch out. But I've never brought a pot liquor as a pup down to my country, raised it with my dogs. And I'll tell you two things. And all these old timers down here, I mean, I grew up that you can't run pot liquors and you can't catch these South Texas bobcats with pot liquors and they're not fast enough. And what, number one, I ain't never seen a running walker dog just leave a pot liquor behind. Now, the pot liquors were raised here and they were also very good. I mean, it took me years to find the pot liquors that I wanted. But when I got them down here, I mean, I never had races that lasted an hour and was like, well, the old pot liquor couldn't keep up. He was right there. At the same time, I've never bought a pot liquor down here that could trail any colder than my dogs. And that's why I've always wanted someone with finished dogs to come down. Because in theory, and there's no doubt, all of y'all's type dogs, except for Derek, should be able to trail shit that my dogs don't even know is there. And I've never experienced that, but the pot liquors that I had were raised here with running walkers. And so I just think nurture has more to do it than nature than we realize. I'm not saying it has everything to do with it, and breeding obviously goes a long way, but it it's not, all of these guys that say this is a registered dog and I can tell you what he's going to do on a piece of paper. I don't agree with you. I think you can tell what he's going to do there, where you're from and what you hunt him with. But these dogs just have, I mean, I had a half blackmouth cur, half Catahoula dog that I raised with a pack of running walkers, bobcat dogs. And shit, that cur dog was as good a cat dog as a man could ever want, And
So are you, Cody, are you saying that the dogs that have the ability, the 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 ability to do, well, yeah, but that's the psychology part of it. If they're
yeah,
not able to pull it off, then the psychology doesn't matter.
yeah.
Well,
They can be as intelligent and be able to sort things out like Rick Cooley's dogs could sort out the difference in the trailing conditions. Now we have to change over and start doing this. They had the ability to do it, and therefore the psychology kicks in and they got to sort it out. And I've seen Cody has one of those dogs that is not like the other right now in his kennel. And I just looked at that dog and I said, how in the hell did this happen?
well, and opportunity, right? Opportunity plays a big part in it.
And
And
I don't care what anybody says. Anybody in this country can say whatever they want to say. You live where you live. I live where I live. And dogs do different things when they catch 100 bobcats a year versus if they live somewhere where they catch 10, and they develop they get efficient, and it goes to the brains and the psychology. They learn things, and as much as I would, as much as I would like to take credit for a lot of what my dogs do, it's just because I live in such a game rich environment, and when you live in such a game rich environment, you just naturally don't need dogs that can trail 2-day old tracks. You know, those dogs don't develop that super cold nose here because they don't have to.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, and that goes back to, that dog's going to do. You could take that dog to New Mexico and Arizona, and he may be a cold trailing bastard. But you bring him down here and you go to catching 1 or 2 bobcats every morning, you take him hunting, and he don't have to cold trail it up. And so, there's just, it's a lot more complicated than just breeding.
Well, I
Has
asked
a
you at
lot to
one
do with
point, Cody, about your
conditioning.
dog. Yeah, I asked you about your dogs and trailing lions, and I don't remember what the question was exactly, but you told me that there's another guy you know that has the exact same dogs as you that is concentrated on mountain lions more than cats these days. And so they're producing those lions, and all it is put them in that situation and give them the opportunity and encourage them to go on.
That's correct. And one thing that I can guarantee you is there's not a lion hunter in the country that's going to come down to this country and is going to have pot lickers that can cold trail lions any better than his running walkers do.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
was
going
my
to
point.
happen.
Yeah,
And
that was my point. But it's right here.
yes, but it's interesting because that individual used to catch bobcats just as many or more than I do, and transitioning to catching 25 plus lions a year. Number one, he's no longer hunting in good bobcat country, but those, and I got to see it firsthand, and it was very educational. I got to watch bobcat dogs become lion dogs, and in the process of becoming good lion dogs, they were no longer great bobcat dogs.
It
And
changed the mentality.
it changed their mentality. It changed their focus. They became more trail minded, and that is not the most efficient way to catch bobcats down here. And I got to watch that change. I mean, the same dogs, the exact dogs, one pack of dogs, go from catching 4 or 5 lions a year to catching 25 plus a year, and in the same time go from catching 100 bobcats a year to 10 or 15 bobcats a year. And they became great at catching lions, but in doing so, it became much more difficult for him to catch bobcats with them.
So
And
then
it was,
explain to all of us what took place in that dog's mind, since this is a topic of psychology.
I think part of it has to do with they just like a lion more. And um, I think a lot of dogs have a natural inclination to like a lion more than a bobcat. First of all, I think dogs, it's very natural for dogs to like a cat. I mean, dogs chasing cats is a cliche that goes back thousands of years, And but I think them lions are so much bigger, they smell so much better, and I think they're a lot more rewarding to a dog. I think certain dogs. I mean, that one of those dogs that I mentioned early, Eve, Stocky, and Rose's mama. She's a jump dog deluxe. She won't trail a bit. She'll trail the shit out of a lion all day long. And so I think part of it is they like the lion. I think part of it is uh, they learn to trail and then because they have to if you're going to catch, if you want to catch more lions, they're going to have to trail much more than with bobcats. There's no doubt. Lions travel so much more, and they learn to trail, and I think they kind of like it as well. And but if you break it down, a bobcat, a typical South Texas bobcat race. I leave, I dump the dogs, they start a cat, I'll trail it for usually 10 or 15 minutes, and then I may run it an hour. A lion is opposite. I may trail it 5 hours, and then I'm only going to run it 5 minutes. So what those dogs focus on just changes. It's just the kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, and it's something that they learn. It can be learned behavior, and it's yes, absolutely, Casey. I mean, these dogs, once you get them on lions and they start liking them, they like them. I mean, my dogs will trail a lion much better than they'll trail a bobcat. They like them.
You just have more bobcat over where you are.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, where I live, I have no lions. I have to travel 3 hours to get in lion country. And I catch probably 10 bobcats for every lion now. And I don't have the best lion dogs. I have very good bobcat dogs that will catch a lion.
So when you're hunting though, and they start trailing that line up, can you tell the difference in their attitude and how they're working?
Certain times I can, like Eve. If Eve's trailing, it's a lion. I mean, I'll bet money on it. I got a dog I had a dog. I gave him away, but I had a dog won't run a lion. It's not a bobcat. It's trash. Old Jake, he wouldn't run a lion.
Do you think it's true universally for combo dogs, squirrel, coon, cougar, bear, bobcat, and cougar? So he's asking, is it just for all the dogs? Like if you're hunting coon and squirrel, if a dog likes to hunt squirrel, like Stinker loves to hunt squirrel, but she'll trail a bear. She loves hunting bear. She just an all around loves to hunt everything.
There's a lot of boys got a lot of zeros with some high dollar competition coon dogs when they go to a hunting bear country or get on a bobcat or something.
So they hunt the coon so much, hunting the bear or anything else, the dogs aren't driven to do it, or you think they're not?
Well, he's
It's
asking.
not what they want to do.
I think they
he's
will.
asking, does the dog pick a favorite?
I think
game animal to pursue.
I think that depends on the dog.
I think a lot of dogs have a favorite.
Like with my dirty dog, when I'm in the desert, he loves to put his nose down and trail. And then when I come up and bear hunt, you could tell he lifts his head up, but it takes a little bit. Like he's kind of my universal dog, where when I come up out of the desert, he tries to trail these old bear until the fact that I have to. But what I do is when he starts trying to trail them, and I know he's trailing them, I pull him off until we're rigging and he's going. His head is up. And then after a week, he keeps his head up a little bit more. And instead of trying to cold trail it, I feel like he's looking for that hotter scent. And then when I get back down to the desert, he holds his head up for a while. And of course, you're not going to smell nothing that way. And then after a week, he'll start putting his nose down and looking again. But he's kind of my special dog. He's a dog that dies and I'm be screwed and running all over the place. Derek will be proud of me because I'll be chasing my dog because they just be running trying to catch stuff. It'll be fast. It'll be real fast.
Cody, Rick Cooley asked a question to you. What does it say?
Which one? Where's it at?
Did the guys' dogs get better after generations of running mountain lions?
Where do you,
I don't know. I'm just watching it happen in real time, Rick.
I
Just
mean,
with
I think
time, the progression was just a natural progression because that's what they focused on.
Yeah, I mean, and they focused on it because that's what he focused on. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you have to understand one thing that in Texas, anyways, there's bobcats everywhere, and there's mountain lions everywhere. But in general, good lion country is terrible bobcat country,
Yeah.
and so he started hunting where there just wasn't many bobcats.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think a lot of dogs have a favorite, but I think also that a lot of dogs, like if they'll, hunt bears or they'll hunt bobcats, if you can put them on a track and they'll take it, then you can take them to new country and put them on a track and they'll take it. You know what I mean? Whether they make a lose or do it whatever. I think a dog that likes to trail and catch things will try to trail or catch things. If there's something remotely in the realm of that they like to trail or catch.
next year I'm bringing my dogs to rendezvous.
Cody
Go.
is already bugging me about the rendezvous, saying we gotta get it going. He's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Next year I'm bringing my dogs to rendezvous, and it'll be interesting. We could even do like an experimental type deal where I can take, 2 or 3 of my best dogs, and someone out there, maybe Casey or Clayton or whoever, Chris, can take 2 or 3 of their best dogs. We can go find a lion track and we can put the dogs on it. And it will be interesting for everybody to be able to see what's the difference. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
Like
Now-
mine, no Cody, and like Arizona cattle. They transition real well.
I mean,
Don't
what
bother them here,
happens?
but take them out there and they'll run the fire out of them.
What happens when you mix? You take 9 dogs from different areas and mix them together. You think they'll mimic each other?
trouble.
Lots
That's
of-
what happens. You're
Hey,
trouble.
Y'all be surprised because Casey, Robert, and I turned dogs loose. We had a pack, I'm telling you, and didn't have a first problem. Now I left my 2 idiots in the buggy, but
I think
Well,
it might
I
not
think
go as
that-
bad as you reckon.
I
Because
think that's part of it. If you got if you've got already well kept dogs and you're picking your 3, and I think that's where you're headed, Derek. Where those dogs are not, they're more focused. Generally, they're more focused. They're not playing as much grab ass. You're not putting 8 dogs from here and 8 dogs from there, and you're not mixing a real big menagerie together. And those dogs can stay focused. There's going to be a little butt sniffing, a little posturing, but with just a handful of dogs, every handler can say, "Hey, knock that off." And those dogs, because they are the top of the pack, they'll pay better attention, and I think it'll be great, interesting.
yeah, and I think
Well-
that at least I know for my dogs, like my Karelian and my Gray Leica, I let them in the yard together. They're gonna fight right now. But you slap them collars on and pull them out of the box, not the first issue, because they're about that business. Then I mean, they give a damn what this guy's doing. And I think like Cody's best dogs and Chris's best dogs, and like my leaders, anybody's top end dogs, they're gonna get out there, and it may not be as big an issue as you think. Now, if we all dumped our pups out, everybody's chasing everybody's bark around. But I think the dogs that know what they're about, like Benny's saying, they're going to be focused and be damned what that joker's working at. I'm doing my thing.
I think it would be something very interesting for Chris or Brett to
film.
to film. You
Yes.
know, and
So,
watch.
so now here's the difference, female and male. Now let's go into the psychology of female and male, because if you drop females, to me, in my opinion, my females, when I drop them, they'll run around and take a shit, but they're not running around trying to piss on everything.
Mhm.
They're not running to each spot. My females I put down, and they want to go hunt more than my males. You put your males down, and they'll run around and they'll piss and they'll mark everything. Like, so the psychology between those two, if you was to say what you want to do is put them together, would there be a big difference between if you dropped 9 females or 9 males?
I mean, that depends
Okay,
on the dog.
Yeah, I
let's
think
go
it's
back to
individual.
junior high. Let's just go back to junior high.
Yeah.
That you already know, Chris. The girls in junior high were making all the grades, and the boys were running around pulling on their little Peters and trying to impress the girls by pulling on their little Peters, and all they wanted to do was run around with a billy goat lip and and act all stupid. And so, you know, there's
That's
the
exactly
there's the
right, Casey.
difference.
Yes, sir.
There's a difference in mentality between the sexes, but it also smooths out with age.
I think that on average, a female makes a dog earlier, and I think that on average, a female dog is a little bit better dog than a male dog. But I think that the vast majority of the super dogs are male dogs.
Yes, sir. I agree with
And
that.
They
that
just take a lot longer to make.
yeah,
Yep.
It-
And I
it-
think-
A lot more patience.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But
I think when there's
if
more
you look
aggressive-
back at the, if you go look at everybody and say, "What's the best dog you ever owned?" I would say 9 out of 10 of them are going to be male dogs. But I believe that a female on average makes a little bit better dog than a male.
yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's been my experience, and I've only had a couple hundred dogs.
And
Yeah,
Ruben,
I agree with that.
Ruben spayed all his females. It used to drive me nuts. But he'd say, "Cody, you spay these bitches and they're strictly business." And he was right.
There is that 2 weeks every 6 months you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
But I get it. And but shoot, every time you see a dog spayed, it gets fat, or I don't know how'd that work out for him as far as keeping him spayed? Did you notice
Ah.
that difference?
No, I have a lot of spayed bitches now. Still, I think there's a certain population or certain type of dog that has a female problems, but yeah, or maybe that's a pot licker problem and not a running walker problem. I don't know, but yeah, that's not something that you see. But
Yeah.
but it's not something that you see with dogs that are hunted 3 or 4 days a week either.
Well, yeah. There's a combination to all this, right? You can talk about psychology of a dog that only hunts every weekend,
Yeah.
3 times a year, or 3 days a week, all the way up to just hunting the hell out of a dog. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're going to see a big, big, big difference.
And you got to define psychology too. It I mean, psychology covers a lot of different subjects. You can put personality in there. I mean, every dog's got its own personality. It and I got a dog one time from a guy, top dog. I had a dog poisoned, and he filed a claim on his insurance, and his insurance company bought me a dog, and a top dog that I knew it well. I got that bitch. The first 3 cats that I caught, she was standing in the road, wouldn't go. And I knew for a fact that she was a top dog before I got her. And she died, the best dog that I had, many years later. But the first 3 times I took that bitch hunting, I did nothing but open the tailgate, drop all my dogs, and I treat 3 cats. And the first 3 cats that I caught in 3 different hunts, she never barked, never went with them. I mean, if I didn't know, I'd have been on this live accusing the man of screwing me. You know, I'd have called him a no good lying son of a bitch. She won't even go. She won't even go. I can walk her to a tree and jump a cat out, and she won't even run it. And you're telling me she's a top dog? You're full of shit. Well, he wouldn't have been full of shit because she was and I mean, she was a dog. Now, let me tell you, as good as they get when it comes to bobcat dogs. And I would have thought she was worthless if I didn't have a background. How many fist fights and arguments have been started across this country over you screwed me on a dog?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, that goes into also, I guess, a little bit of the mind when the reason this all got brought up. I was talking to the guy out of South Carolina, and we was actually talking about my kids and his wife feeding the dog and how they act with those people.
Yep.
And this might be more of an alpha thing where my 2 twin boys go out and feed and they act a fool. You know, they can take the BB gun out and shake it and they'll settle down. But when I walk through those trees, even when they're going crazy with my kids, when I walk through those trees, those dogs, they go to their dog box or they get on top or they just sit down like, oh, crap. You know, so they're smart enough to know who to mess with, who not to. Same with his wife. His wife would go out, feed the dogs, and they act like fools. He come out there and they just sit down.
And
That's where this all came up to where,
yeah.
you know, so
And
what is that? And then, like you said, how many fist fights have been started? But how many times have I gave a dog to a guy and didn't do nothing for him? Gave him back. I went and caught a bobcat that next week.
Yep. It's same, and it's really bad. I haven't had too much trouble with hounds. A lot of the hounds I got could handle for anybody. Maybe not quite as good or whatever, but they'll go. But with the Spitz dogs, it's like a known issue. It takes you a long time to make buddies with these damn things. Like my gray male, he's a stopper, man. That's what I use him for. That's what he's good at. He'd go in there quiet and get on one. And I tried to send him in with my buddy to walk into a veterinary, and I was going to drive around the bottom, pick him up, you know. And the son of a bitch wouldn't go. He sat right down on the ground and looked at me like I was a dumbass and ran over to the truck and jumped back in and would not go in there with him.
And that's where Casey Fair, he said right there, back there, what did he say? That's what makes you, that's what being a houndsman is right there, right? That's where it comes into play.
You got to be able to identify that. And 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4 in the hounds world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different ways, and every dog is different. Every dog has a different personality. And you look through my handheld, I'm running 16 dogs, and you go and I got it pulled up where you pull each dog up and I can tone them, vibrate them, or shock them. And if you go through my handheld, you'll see 16 different dogs and you'll see 16 different settings on that shocker.
Yep.
And that's because I have identified what each dog can take without being negatively impacted. And you have to be able to read I mean, Taco, I run enough electricity through Taco to light up the town of El Paso for a week. You couldn't hurt that dog. You can't stop him. You know, on the other hand, old Tina died day before yesterday. No, Monday, day before yesterday. Old Tina, you toned Tina, and she done for the day. You know, and those are the 2 extremes. And then there's 14 other dogs that are in the middle somewhere. And I can't tell you how many ignorant hound hunters I've seen in my life that just hammer down on them dogs, treat them all the same. Shocked. I hunted with a guy one time. I shit you not. He didn't have tracking collars, and I said, "How you find them dogs?" He said, "I'll show you." We got done hunting, and he couldn't find one of them dogs, and he put that shocker on high and held that button down, and that dog started squealing. He said, "He's over there. Let's go get him." And that shit don't sit with me, you know. And but there's so many houndsmen that have ruined dogs, and at the same time there's been a million dogs made, and houndsmen are individuals just like the dogs, and it's this maze of personalities and psychology that, I mean, I can't tell you several times in my life both ways. I mean, I've had a guy give me a dog that he was going to cull that made a top dog. And I've given a dog that I was going to cull to someone that made a top dog. They don't always fit. You know, the Dallas Cowboys went through thousands of players to put together that 12-man team. And a lot of time houndsmen just expect you can just go get 6 dogs at random, throw them in a pile and expect them to work. And that's just not the way it is. You know, I've seen dogs that wouldn't work with other dogs. I've seen dogs that were better when other dogs were there. I've seen dogs that didn't like people. I've seen people that didn't like dogs. It's a never-ending world of combinations, and it really takes a good houndsman to sort it all out, and a lot of that just comes with age and experience from watching dogs for 10 years and then 20 years. And then, you know, a lot of people look at them old timers and say, "Man, what makes them so good?" God dang, they've been doing it for 50 years. They ought to know dogs by now. I mean,
The 1,000 dogs they went through to get their
yeah,
skin.
yeah.
So, Cody, this dog psychology, the the handler psychology plays a major important part.
Absolutely.
Get that.
Tim
I
B
think
just made a comment, and can you put that comment back up? There's been more great dogs ruined by bad houndsmen. That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
How many people here right now? I could raise my hand. That's ruined a dog, and you know you right when you did it. You're like,
Oh, I've
damn,
done
I
it.
shouldn't have done it. Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you don't realize you've done it, you probably shouldn't be in the dogs.
that's the
first
biggest thing.
the first thing you got to do is you got to learn, and it I mean, I could just go on and on, but let me tell you something. Never once in my life have I had an animal of any kind, really, but never once in my life have I had a dog and it doing something, and me throwing a temper tantrum and kicking the shit out of it made that dog stop and then instantly do what I wanted him to do. That's never
Never
happened
works.
in my history.
Nope.
My
Never
temper
works.
tantrum makes it worse. And
Makes you madder, more than likely.
yeah, down here we get game fences, and them dogs will go through the holes in the fence, and then sometimes they won't come across to the other side, and it's the most frustrating thing you've ever seen in your life. And I was hunting with an old boy one time, and he had a young dog, ain't never been around them fences, and he wouldn't come under the hole. And he went to shocking on that dog, and I told him, I said, "Hey, bud, you think knocking that dog on high is just going to make him go, oh man, that guy wants me to crawl through that little hole right there. I better go do it." That dog don't even know why you're shocking him, you know? And so I became, and I had a temper when I was younger, and lots of people do. But I became a much better houndsman the day that I realized my temper never accomplished anything for me. And it's the same with an argument. How many times have you ever been in an argument with somebody who was road raging or stole your parking lot, and then after you got out of the truck and called him a dumb son of a bitch, he looked at you and said, "I'm sorry, let me move."
Yeah.
It don't happen, you know.
Yep.
Yes, sir. I think a handler's ego is the hardest thing and the first thing you got to get past.
Yeah.
Like at any point in our lives, if we think we got it figured out, that's probably time to start hunting whitetail or something, because that's when you're gonna stop making better dogs. You know what I mean? You always got to be able to learn from the animals, learn from the conditions, learn from day to day. It changes. Like and you see guys like that. Oh, I've been doing this my whole life. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it. If I did it the same way that my granddad taught me, I wouldn't do any damn good out here. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be. It would be. You just can't do stuff just because you think that's the only way to do it. So I'm always trying new things, learning new things.
And and just because somebody's been doing something for 40 years don't mean they know what they're doing.
Or it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's you know, there's a lot of old timers out there that ain't worth a shit too. And sometimes, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but sometimes younger hunters, and now I'm transitioning with this gray hair, but sometimes we're apt to give too much credit to an old timer, and just because he's an old timer, and so you have to sit back and watch and learn and listen and never stop learning. And like Derek said, the moment you think you know it all is maybe in your future you'll realize you don't, and then you can actually start learning something. And we've all been that way.
Oh, yeah.
In many aspects, in every aspect of life. It doesn't just go with hunting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and it all kind of starts too. This is why I don't like taking dogs that are old. I like taking dogs. I like raising my own dogs, actually, because I know they're born. I watch them grow up. But it all starts with manners, So if they have manners, it's a lot easier to train them in the field than just. I've hunted with people that have some wild dogs, and I just don't even know how they ran them. It's just ridiculous, jumping out of the truck or just letting them go out of the truck and they just disappear. But it all, like you said, it starts with psychology of both dog and the human, the handler. But it all starts as a puppy too. You can definitely ruin them the first 3 months, just right away before you even get them out in the field.
It's just like all the old books, like I really like Montague Stevens' book, that Meet Mr. Grizzly. I really like that book. That guy had some really interesting thoughts on animal training. He's a smart guy. But what I'm not going to do is do it the same exact way he did. I ain't going to go out and buy a pack of bloodhounds and then buy some cur dogs to teach the cur dogs to trail me to the bloodhounds. And, because why the hell would I do that? We got Garmin, like he did cool stuff with these liaison dogs. If you ain't never read that book, it's a good one. Like he did really cool stuff in the 1890s,
But the training methods have definitely changed.
Yeah. And then even the hunting methods, they had no tracking. So hunting a grizzly, it might run 20 miles. So he trained his dogs to hunt grizzlies, and then he trained his other dogs to stay within sight of him and trail his pack of dogs when they were out of hearing. Genius.
But I'll tell you something else too. And if Rick, I'm fixing to start some drama on your show, Chris.
No.
Cody's shit starting alarms going off.
Should have let him go to bed.
Yeah. But I'm gonna do it. Rick Cooley's here tonight. Rick, I'm debating whether I should say his name or not, but he said it in the comments. But does anybody in this live here know who Norman Starling is, whatever his name is?
Yeah.
The coon hunter guy.
He's full of shit
Head to head coon hunt challenge.
So
in his backyard.
yeah, and then he lost the competition, so he went and stole the club's electric meter while they were giving the awards out and shit. But
Oh,
it's wonderful. But
Storm and Norman.
I'm gonna start a little drama with Storm and Norman. And Derek said this a while ago. He goes, "We got Garmins now. We don't need to do all that stuff." And that's very true. But I grew up, there wasn't no Garmins. And then we had beep beeps, and then we got Garmins. And Norman Sterling, what's his
Starling.
name? Norman Starling. Stormin, he will be referred to as Stormin Norman from now on. He's got this Facebook group where they do coon hunting competitions 1-on-1
In his backyard.
Yeah.
Yep. He
And
changed the rules every 5 minutes.
the whole world hates him. But I watched his coon hunts a good bit, and he's got a Gorman, and they're hunting one dog. They turn their dogs loose, and this has happened on more than one occasion. So the competition coon hunts, for those of y'all that don't know, they turn these dogs loose, and it's a competition, and you're scoring points, and you strike your dog. So when you hear your dog and you bark, you strike. You want to say it fast. You want to be the first to the punch. And then when they tree, you want to tree my dog. I want my points, because if the other guy trees it before you do, he could steal your points, and there's all this to it. And I never seen this dog before in my life. I'm not a coon hunter. I never been around pot lickers, and I'm sitting here listening to the dogs barking in the background. And Norman strikes his dog, and he's sitting there holding the Garmin. And in the background, you hear Norman's dog start, oh, 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 and Norman's sitting there watching his handheld. And then pretty soon, you see his handheld light turn on. And it says there at the top, airplane is treed. And then Norman goes, tree plane. And it's so comical sitting there. And it's like, dude, your dog's been treeing for 15 seconds. And you're not capable of calling your dog treed until that freaking handheld told you he was treed. Well, and it's
He's not the only one.
No, that's where I was going. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of them guys on there that do that. And I mean, I'm just some dude in South Texas. I ain't never seen that dog in my life. Why can I tell that your dog's treed before you can?
Yes,
because he was so busy watching that Garmin.
They used to not be allowed to have them turned on in like UKC and the PKC, but now they can. Used to have to be shut off.
And I will say this, that he had a dog named Airplane and Airplane number 2 and Airplane number, there's Chingles airplanes, but very nice dogs. Now, I don't know nothing about the competition coon hunts. I don't think they would ever be world champion dogs, but they some coon treeing sons of bitches now. Nice dogs. I'm not dogging Norman, but sometimes I think I want to look at a young hunter, and you want to know what's best for you, put that handheld away for the first 6 months. And here's some beep beep callers that I would hunt a dozen times without pulling my receiver out. The beep beep callers were for one thing and one thing only, and that was when you lost your dog. You could go find your dog. And now I got a freaking screen this big in my center console of my truck, and them dogs are barking. But now the difference is I'm listening, but I'm also watching. And I can put that together. That's because and have been around yes. I mean, and that's because I didn't have them. You know, I for those of us that are old enough, and number one, I didn't have them, and number two, I couldn't afford them if they did have them at the time. So they, but, and I've known several people that, especially when you're road hunting your dogs, that Garmin, you become too hyper focused on what your dogs are doing and where they're at. And I'll go hunting, and I'm not going to name these names because I like these guys, but I know a couple of guys offhand right now that I'll be hunting with them and be like, hold on, so and so's 300 yards over there, and I'm like, so what? He's hunting. Leave the son of a bitch alone, you know. No, I gotta tone him and get him back over here. And it's what leave your dog alone, let him hunt.
Yeah.
So them Garmins you can ruin a dog with them, but they can work against you just as well. And that's one, you know, I always told Brett, I said, man, I'm gonna get you a saddle horn mount for one of these drive tracks you can put on your horse.
Alpha, the XLs.
Yeah. And but you know, there's good and bad to them all. But some people would be better houndsmen if they hunted without them. Some too is the point I'm getting at.
When I got my first GPS, I learned more about my dogs watching that GPS, a lot more, how they come back, how they circle. But even now, once you get over the new, it's kind of like a phone. You get a new phone and you're playing with it, and and then you kind of get. With me, there's times I'm like, damn, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then Cody Lynn or somebody like, well, check your Garmin. I'm like, oh shit, I got my Garmin. But most of the time, I'm like, dude, they sound treed. They sound treed. Then I'll pull my Garmin out and watch to see if they really, because then you're like, they're all in the same spot or they're running around a tree or something. So I use my Garmin. I listen to my dogs anyways. And I'm like, damn, they sound treed. And that Garmin is just kind of you're right. They are treed because they're all in one little spot.
See,
So
everybody,
people use them here, I think, more than, but I don't know coon hunting either back there. Here in Arizona, New Mexico, we hunt packs of dogs. Like you're saying, they're just sending out a dog, or they're
sending out one dog. Yeah.
So that's a big, big difference on how I guess we hunt too, between that coon competition and just out line or bear hunting. Is we're keeping track of. Yeah.
Well,
you hunt everything with 8.
See, I think everybody ought to just do like me, switch to that dog trip Pathfinder, because you ain't got a phone battery alive to look at it too much. You got to keep it turned off. Or the joke will die right now. You look at it about 5 times by lunch, and you down 50%. You know.
I think what you're getting to, Cody, you said it one time on Brett's show, some time back. You need to learn, just like you need to learn how to comprehend your hounds, you need to learn to speak Garmin.
Yeah. You need to learn to speak dog too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And everything goes hand in hand. And,
That's exactly right, Tim. That's exactly right.
He says, back when I didn't have any GPS tracking, I could walk to a tree and back to my truck in the dark without any issues. Now with GPS, I depend on it and get back to my truck in the dark. That's true because you're you have that little handheld that you're gonna go. And so I think when you have that security, you're more watching for tracks and not paying attention to your surroundings and where you've been or what direction you're actually heading.
I think I will say though, I do like it, especially out here. Back east, I never even had GPS till way late in the game, but like out here, you'll get into some nasty bullshit. And if I walked out the same way I come in, that'd be god awful. But I got the Onyx, and I can just go right around this mountain and up that wash. That's way easier. Yep. I do like that. I can get to them quicker. I can get out quicker. Rather than following straight line to the sound or the way they went until I can hear them again. I do like it for that. You can get them caught up or get back quick, all that.
Down
can-
here in South Texas, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, a lot of these ranches, they ran seismographed them for oil field exploration. So there'll be thick ass brush, and then there'll be a lane 5 foot wide that they cleared back in the 60s or 70s. It don't seem like much, but when it's thick ass brush, that's where you want to walk, is where that lane was 30 years ago, you know? And so we use it to find a lot of that. And Tim's right. Back in the older days, I'd just start plowing through that shit, crawling on my belly and rolling over the top. You know, now it's kind of like,
Straightest path you could find.
why don't we run down there and get one of them cows? And it's, well, why don't we walk down there and get them all, boys? Let's take a little time and
Right.
look at a map, you know? So, yeah. No, technology's come a long ways. And, you know, and it's just going to get better. You know, it's not going to be long until this Starlink technology's on all our phones. It's on our dog collars. There's not going to be no more range restrictions on our collars and
Batteries are
You know,
getting better.
in Sweden and all of Scandinavia, they, for one thing, when the hunt starts, so once you put dogs down, you cannot use a vehicle at all for nothing. They have to go afoot. They can only use 2 dogs, and I don't know the brand or whatever, but their collars, you can see that dog from anywhere. It's a cellular thing, and they got like satellite link cell phone things, and even in the wilderness, they
Garmin
can
makes
see
a
that
collar
dog.
that's cell based.
Yeah, and they can do they, and they
Gila,
can see it from everywhere.
Gila Hounds just made a comment. Since he said, it's like saying I'm not going to use my truck because they didn't have that 200 years ago. And I have a comment that I'm famous for saying about that. Is these guys will talk about, oh, it's old school. I'm gonna be like Dale Lee, and I don't use cell phone cameras because I'm gonna be like Dale Lee and Ben Lilly. Let me tell you what. If you think Ben Lilly and Dale Lee wouldn't have had, they'd have had cameras and dog trackers and Garmin's, and they would have used every tool they could
Well,
possibly find to help improve
Well,
their
Dale Lee and
dogs.
them
I was
helped
gonna say,
come
wasn't
up
it
with
Dale?
Tritronics.
What
Yeah.
wasn't it Dale Lee that started all that crap?
Yeah.
That's
It
because
was.
he wanted
Well,
a better
absolutely
way.
was.
Yeah. No,
You know?
they didn't use this stuff because they didn't have it. And that's
Well,
the only reason why.
they weren't using muskets because they used them in the old days.
Yeah.
They were using
Yeah.
30-30s and repeating rifles and whatever they had.
Yep. That's exactly right. And
But you know what
although
it should be like? It should be like falconry. If houndsmen had to be like falconry, where you had to have a mentor and you had to pass your little test to be a
And
falconer,
pay
right?
$150
What is that?
for a hounding
Yeah.
license.
2 years, right?
2 years apprenticeship, and then and it's every you take a test, and then you have to have a sponsor, but they'll sign off for you to take a test, and then you're under this guy's control for 2 years, and then you can upgrade to be a general, and you're only allowed to have certain kinds of birds while you're an apprentice, and then you can get more and different stuff later. It'd be like if we did it like falconry, you wouldn't be allowed to have only certain breeds of dogs, and you couldn't train a puppy as an apprentice. And
Then we'd all be stuck with red bones and blue
Well,
ticks.
You'd have to start out with crappy dogs like Plots or
no,
Red terriers.
it'd be like the most traditional thing. Like he's right, you'd have a red
Spitches.
bone or a blue tick, and it'd have to be a made dog, you know. And then you couldn't have a different breed or a different puppy, or maybe you could only hunt bears, and then you couldn't hunt lions until you were, something like that. It's pretty silly.
But it sure would weed out a lot of people.
It would weed out. I think it would. The problem is the average falconer has got real big bank account. The average
Yeah.
dog guy don't. And if we did it like that, it would weed out
Because
so
we buy
many.
Garmin's and have
Well,
to
no, but I
maintain
mean,
trucks and
you know
buggies
how
and horses and
much a falconry GPS, the Marshall GPS system costs? That's $1,800 to track one bird, and
it's
each
about that to
little
track
deer.
one dog.
Huh?
It's
No,
about
but
that to track one dog.
Yeah.
but one dog collar costs like $3.99.
Plus the
One-
Plus
unit.
an $800 unit.
Yeah, but see that when you go buy another bird unit or the bird little anklet thing, the turbo GPS, those are $800. The unit cost another 1,000, and then you got just more and more, and they don't last a long time. You
Can
only got like 6
can
hours.
can you run two birds on one unit, or you have to have a unit
No.
for each bird?
No, you get it's a pocket link, kind of like Dog Truck. It links to your phone.
Yeah.
So once you have the deal, it's just another $800 for
I
another.
don't know if any of you guys listen to Houndsman XP podcast with the falconry one.
Yeah, Falconry
Listen
Chronicles.
to the falconry. I know if you're not into falcons, or listen to those podcasts. That guy does a phenomenal job on just telling the stories and doing a podcast. And I swear, you'll listen to the whole podcast on that Falconry Chronicles guy. It's a beautiful podcast. So interesting. That's all he does,
went
talk
with
about
him.
those birds.
I went with a guy, the falconry guy, one time, and he had just gotten a permit from the state, and he was trying to catch a bird, and he was kind of partnered up with some people that were collaring birds, and it was very interesting. They were catching these birds so that they could collar them, and they had this big frisbee, and the frisbee had a bunch of holes in it, and they had yarn loops like woven through all these holes of this frisbee. And I got to go with them, and they took a white rat, and they had it stuck to the middle of this frisbee. And them hawks would be landed on the high line. And we drive down the road at a pretty decent rate of speed, because if you went slow, it would spook them. And they'd throw that frisbee out the truck. And when that frisbee would go by, them hawks would see that rat, and they would glide down. Look at this bastard's got one of them.
He does.
And,
That's my little
and
one.
they would glide down and grab that rat, and their claws would get all tangled in those loops. And that's how they would catch them birds. And they were collaring them too. But yeah, there you go.
Here, I can make that big. Hang on. Hang on. Where you at? I don't know how to do it. There we go.
This is my little one.
Show the loops in there. They're made with like monofilament, right? Or something.
Yeah, I got some wire and some mono. These are mono.
Yeah, and them birds see that rat in that frisbee, and man, they zoom off that high line and boom, they hit there, and their feet get all tangled up in that stuff. It's pretty neat. And what amazed me was how consistently the hawks chased the rat. I mean, it was like instinct to them. They couldn't help it. They dived down
Put
there.
it in there.
It was very cool to watch.
Yep. There's a bunch of different kind of traps, but for some different species, but this works really well with hawks and buzzards. So like a red tail.
Down here, they use Harris hawks. It's
Yeah.
a pretty popular hawk for the falconers here.
That's
Not
the
that there's
most
very many of
popular.
them, but
That's the most popular one in the world because their Harris hawks live in a pack like wolves for their whole lives. They live in a family group. So when you catch one, you always have to catch them in the first year of life. So they're full grown, but they're still like pups. And they take to being your buddy real easy. They're like a dog. They understand working as a team. Harris hawk's way easier than anything else.
What's the mean one? The Garrison or
A goshawk?
is that the one that like claw your face if you don't like you tied a bird?
Yep. Yeah, you're in like you can make red tails face grabbers. I'm no good with a red tail. Everybody starts with them, and I started with a Harris hawk, and then I went to Cooper's hawk, which is like a little goshawk. Supposed to be the hardest birds out there, but it's kind of like with dogs. If it suits you, it suits you. And if you get
Personality,
along with
right?
that breed,
Yeah.
yep.
You have to get
And
along.
so I'll turn a Harris hawk, which everybody gives to their 12-year-old, or no, not a Harris hawk, a red tail that everybody gives to their kid to start with. I'll turn that joker into a face grabber. I don't know. I overhandle them, I think. But I can make a Cooper's hawk. I want to
I
get a
tell you what,
goshawk one these days.
that
It's pretty cool, man.
that falconry, it takes just as much. It takes more work on a bird, I think, than
Yeah,
it does a dog. You know, we're
100%.
running. You're running 16 dogs. You know, I'm running anywhere from 6 to 10 at a time. But those those falcon guys, it's no joke, and it is
It
so interesting.
it
Very
takes
interesting.
so much work, man. So much work.
And
It
I've
is.
seen falconers use dogs too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They as and that hawk and that dog will work
Yep.
together.
Yep.
It's unbelievable to see.
I
Yep.
just watched a video where he sent a little tiny dog down a hole, and it chased a squirrel out, ran up a tree, and his bird come in and swiped it.
Yeah.
And it went to
Yeah.
the ground, and that dog went and started chewing on that squirrel with that hawk by there.
Yep.
And
And then
it's something to watch them hawks grab something bigger than them. You know,
yep.
it's unbelievable. Down here it's
Deer
jackrabbits,
rabbit.
you know.
Yep.
Abel Quintanilla's son, and I apologize that I don't remember his name, but he's from Harlingen, Texas. But he's the only falconer I've ever known down here. And then I kind of buddied up with a guy. He had a contract with the outlet mall in Mercedes to go in there and keep the damn pigeons out.
Oh, that
Yep.
has to be a sight
That's
too.
a big
Sending
thing.
them birds in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's it's a cool thing, man, and it's effective. Like it's not like, I mean, if you were like, oh, I'm gonna catch my food with my dog with no gun, it's not. It's more effective just to go shoot your food, right?
Yeah.
But if you can get a hawk or a falcon, like especially like an accipiter, like a goshawk or something tuned up, or a Harris hawk, something like that you can do multiples with, you can go limit out on your game birds just as easy as you could with your shotgun. Probably more so. Like with a goshawk, you don't miss. I mean, very rarely does something get away from an accipiter. They're so much faster than everything else. They go 0 to in that tail.
I seen a guy in Mexico that had falcons,
Yeah,
and
I had a peregrine one, so it's cool.
they and then he had a peregrine, and then he had uh Oplomata.
Oplomata, yeah.
And he had them in pins. I never seen his stuff work, but he had, I think to him collecting the different species was just as important as working with them. But it's like a Ford Mustang and a Ferrari going from a Hawk to a Falcon. It's just unbelievable that them Falcons are. I mean, you're talking about fast. It's
Yeah.
really, really cool.
It's the dive is what it is. So like in a flat flight, nothing's faster than a goshawk. But like a prairie falcon or a peregrine, they'll get them if you teach them to go up and take a pitch. Man, that'd be 250 mile an hour. And when they hit something, it sounds like you broke a wooden baseball bat over an oak tree. I mean,
Them birds will just disintegrate. I seen them hit a rabbit. I mean, just a hawk hit a rabbit, and it's just like fur. It's just poof. Yeah.
When my Cooper's hawk would hit like doves or quail, I mean, it was like you shot it with a 20 gauge. It just they just hit it and boom. And when my peregrine would hit stuff, he really liked collared doves a lot. That was kind of his favorite, or pigeons. He would hit that joker, son, and it literally looked like he shot it with a damn big shotgun, and just the explosion of that. It's cool, and you can hear it. Like I say, it really does sound like you broke a stick over a tree or something.
Guys,
That's why we call it freak casting. We go all over the place.
This has been a good show tonight. I've enjoyed it, but My first wife has assured me that it's time for bed, and like somebody said, I have not stopped chasing women altogether. Cody, give your wife a hug for me. Tell her hey, and I'm working on mine.
What?
See
Let me
you
tell
guys.
you what Benny said first today. I said, Benny, if you just win that lottery, you wouldn't have to do it. He goes, if I won that lottery, I'd be down there fishing with Cody King.
Well,
There you go.
We all be fishing down there with Cody King.
Hey, you better learn how to get along from me. Otherwise, Melissa will run your ass off.
that's exactly right. Oh, before you go, Benny, you remember Englishman Scott, the photographer?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we booked some dates today,
Did you?
and
You
he's
and Tate?
coming. He's
Oh,
coming
you and
over here in February, the second half of February, and we're going to take Scott. We're going to attempt to take Scott to get some photographs of some dogs treeing the jaguar in Mexico. So
Oh, that's
That's
gonna be a good
cool,
time
man.
right
and
there.
howdy.
we're
That's
supposed to
cool.
have permits before then. So hopefully it'll all work out. But
So I still need to bring my visa,
yeah.
my
So
passport,
if you
and
come
all.
back down fishing, you may want to remember your passport again.
You guys have a great evening. Cody, it's
Thanks,
always
Benny.
good.
Yeah, Mr. Benny.
See you, Benny.
You know, there's so much you can get into on dogs and handlers, and I think, like I said before, it's just a combination. And if you don't have that right combination, you're just gonna have a hard time. Real
Is
hard
Yeah.
time.
Robert Chase still in here?
Oh yeah, I think he is. He's still in here.
Robert, is it getting cold up there at 30,000 feet yet?
They're getting
And have you
snow in Walker, California. My cousin over there said he was getting snow yesterday. Sent me a video.
I'd like to get some snow in central Arizona. That'd be all right.
I
and has he taken them big old blue ticks out?
He's got a super nice black jip.
When I take my dogs up there, they may not hunt. They say them dogs are Roberts.
Be scared some big giant
Afraid,
You just
deer.
afraid,
don't
they, afraid they're going to get whooped.
just don't walk by his box when they're in the truck.
Yeah.
he said them dogs go too. They look like they're just big and clunky and they gas out, but he says they go.
I bet that helps them up there, that thin air. I bet they got such big lungs, man. I
Yeah.
bet that helps them a pile up in
And
and
it's
in that rough
so
country.
cold.
Yeah, they
That
stay
that
warm.
goes that all goes to preference too, man. All goes
Yep.
to preference because Derek's seen my dogs and he's like, "There's no way that dog's out of that dog," and I'm like, Dirty's a big dog, and I bred him to kind of a medium dog, and I got dogs. Morozny's kind of smaller. She's a small
Yeah,
dog. I mean, she's no bigger than Stinker really,
I like the
but
look of that dog.
she's fast and she goes. I got Halado. All these dogs, big dogs. I had two big dogs. Well, I had three. I had Luke. Luke is one of my original big dogs. That's Dirty's dad. And then I had Andy, which was Dirty's brother, and he was a big dog. And Dirty's a big dog, but I tell you what, Dirty's man makes me sad. But his ankles are swelling up now, and he's starting. I think he has a little arthritis in him, so I have to be real careful with him. But I tell you what, if I let him off that box, he'll still go 12 miles, and I just have to lift him back on the box, But
How
Yeah,
many
he's just
how many people are left in here?
45.
So I got some pups on the ground that are ready to wean. And
Running dogs.
I got some very, very, very well bred trailing type running dogs. I got a male puppy that I'll give away to antidote of a houndsman listener if anybody wants one. Oh, that's easy.
They
You gonna
got
keep
hey,
you gonna
they
keep
don't
him
got
in your
pointy
kitchen?
ears. They don't got pointy ears,
They
Derek.
don't look like Pomeranians.
I got
Maybe
I got hounds
flag-tailed.
too. I got hounds too, guys. Okay.
My dogs
Nice.
don't speak Russian. God dang it!
Hey, Chris. Now he's claiming those barking dogs as he is.
Yeah. How do you think those dogs? How do you think them dogs do over here in this kind of country?
I think they'll do excellent if you'll take one over there and raise it there.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Hold
Are
on.
they a pot? Are they a pot licker or window licker? Anderson wants to know.
they're a dead cat lickers is what they are. Puppies. Hold on, I gotta
Well,
find them in the dark. Yeah.
I haven't let too many people know, but man, Cody Lynn, Trichinosis had some puppies, which is Stinker's sister, and they're out of my son's blue dog, which has a lot of my old line out of it. He's a little bit out of my old line. He's a real blocky little blue tick, good looking dog. These pups, they look good.
I'm gonna pick on you for Casey. That's a hell of a name for a dog.
Which one?
Trichinosis.
That's Cody Lynn. I'm going to tell you about Cody Lynn.
What about Bill or Will or
no
Sam or George?
Her last dog, she had a dog named Yosemite. And I said, where do you come up with these names? She's like, I don't know. I seen it somewhere. This is no lie. We're at my dad's house.
Yosemite?
No, Yosemite. Right? We're at my dad's house. My dad always watches the news. And she goes, oh, look, it's Yo. I'm going to make her look stupid, but she is a blonde and she is law enforcement. She goes, look.
Hey, I resemble that.
That's Yosemite's name. I said, Yosemite. I said, Yosemite? No, Yosemite. I said, that's Yosemite. She's like, oh, no, it's Yosemite. There you go. Look, Casey wants one too.
I would really like to send one to, and I've actually got two. If somebody wants one, I got four, and I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep a female, and I'm gonna give a male away to my hunting partner. So there's two males, but Ruff, I'm not gonna hurt your puppy. Y'all quit.
Casey, we got Hondo, or not Hondo. Hondo came from Jared Fisher, and that's gonna be a good dog. Stupid red dog. It's stinking red. And I hate red dogs. And then we got a little female.
You're offending Casey.
No, that's Jared Fisher's dog. But I did get that red dog from Casey. We call her Cochina because she kind of looked like Dirty.
Good looking pup.
Cochina. And she's a good little pup, man. Well, that's a pretty little dog there.
That's one of those PKC registered dogs there.
Yeah,
that ain't a running walker.
Crap. Hang on. How do I hang on? Here we go.
Can I turn my camera around? Is that a possible thing?
Yeah. Just flip it because you're on your back camera. So just flip it around or just hit that little switch button. There you go.
There it is, boys. Y'all come
there
get
it. Oh, now Derek's really excited.
Yeah. That's a Leica.
Yeah.
Hey, come over here, turd.
Oh,
that's them right there. They're very, very well bred dogs. Quit chasing my foot, booger. Quit chasing my foot.
Already trashing.
But there's him and one more male.
I'd sure like to have one for sure.
All right.
Casey wants one.
Yeah. That's a done deal. But yeah, he's a little booger.
Thank you, man.
Well, done deal. First two to talk got it going. So
appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
We'll figure out I might just have to make a trip to Texas.
I got to too. I got to figure that out.
Trying to
There's,
figure out how to get out of here.
there's his brother, I think. He got a little more black on him.
There you go.
Sir.
You ready for a dog, Casey? Shit, Casey gave away enough dogs. It's about time for him to get another one.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I think-
renamed them. I renamed the one that I got. I named it Diana because it's kind of hard headed and mean.
You know she listening.
They may not cold trail as cold as a lot of them pot liquors, but when it gets to where it's good, they gonna catch it.
Now, answer me this. Here's a lot of people say genetics, whatever, but can it be learned? So if they're running with a cold trailing dog, and this dog keeps putting his nose down and trailing, and that pup comes along and is smelling what maybe he wouldn't typically open on, but this dog is opening on it. Do you think that dog could pick up that habit of smelling something that he wouldn't typically open on, but because the other dog is opening up on it, he says,
Oh,
"Oh,
absolutely.
I can
Absolutely.
open up on this."
I can tell you unequivocally, and this is fact, and there's going to be people that disagree with me, and I'm going to tell you they don't know what they're talking about. I like starting shit on your show, Chris.
Hey, that's fine. We do it all the time. Hey, Derek's just happy we're not picking on him this time.
Yeah.
Are they both? Yeah,
I
they
have
both smell,
never.
right?
Yes. Casey, they're both male. There's only one female, and that's mine. I have never gone hunting with someone with pot liquors, with my dogs there, and had their dogs trail something that my dogs wouldn't mess with and caught the cat.
Yeah.
But there also, I have never seen another dog open and trail something that my dogs didn't smell. Maybe my dogs didn't trail it, but my dogs run over there and they just go to whipping and they're working around and they're working around and they're smelling it, and then they'll just kind of lose interest and they'll go looking for the cat. And I say that as in my dogs can smell anything them pot liquors can trail. My dogs just choose not to trail it. They're not bred for trailing.
Is it
And
because it's too cold and they don't want to work it? Like they want a hotter track so they can chase it now?
yeah, I mean they're just not bred to step for step iron out trail a 2-day-old trail, you know. They're bred to catch. They want to catch. They want to go find it where it's fresher. And that doesn't mean they can't smell it. And they'll just kind of weave through the country and they'll smell it here and just kind of weave through the country until they get it to an area where they can start trailing on it. And but these aren't typical running walkers. These South Texas running walkers have more trailing than your normal average registered running walker. And but I'll tell you something. If you want something interesting to Google and look up, just to piss everybody off, Google how many millions of receptors dogs have in their nose, and then Google which dogs have the most receptors. And it's not what you think. A beagle has more receptors in its nose than a blue tick hound.
Is that why they cross them?
I think part of it is yes, and as I've said a million
through that
times,
rough country better.
yeah, but as I've said a million times, if you were to DNA test my running walker dogs, you're going to learn that the old timers 60 years ago bred some pot liquor into them, you know, and they're not, and that's why they're not papered. They're, you know, you can go out east and get registered running walkers, and they won't trail with my dogs, you know. And so my dogs are like a happy medium in the middle between y'all's dogs and a running walker.
So, what do you think would happen if Casey took that dog and threw it in with his pack?
It
You
would just
think-
be one of the dogs. It would
You think
trail
it-
just
you
as
think
good
it
as
would-
his dogs.
Mhm.
It's going to take longer. These dogs take longer to develop their nose and their trailing ability than the dogs that are just bred instinctually. Generally speaking, on average, these dogs are between 2.5, 3 years old before they really start trailing, you know. But let me see if I can. No, I can't. I can't
Just like
minimize this thing.
my great dog last year, all he would do is wind and blow, wind and blow. And, you know, and it worked for him. So he kept doing it. And now he'll rub his nose bloody and, you know, digging the dirt, you know, rubbing a track out if he has to. But as soon as he gets it warm, then he's gone away. And my two crossed up hounds that I made, they just don't do that. They're just gonna do kind of like Cody said. They don't weave so much as they'll blow circles. And yeah, maybe they can't do that for 5 days in a row, but I can't hardly hunt 5 days in a row anyway, so I'm okay with that.
You know, and it's freaking weird, man. I mean, why do Border Patrol use German Shepherds for drug dogs?
Biddability. That's only just biddability. And it's like I was saying a few weeks ago, like just about any dog in the
I know
world.
I wanted to start some shit up, but I told you, Chris, I like starting shit on your show, buddy.
You're gonna get Derek riled up right now.
A teaspoon of sugar and 100,000 gallons of water, man. About any dog can smell that. That's my whole theory. Is it's not about they can't smell it. It's about if they're gonna be excited enough to bark on it or not. You know what I mean?
And that goes what? What does that go to? Is that part of the psychology of the dog to where maybe a dog smells a bear, gets more excited, like just like a human being visually. Some guys like blonde, some guys like brunettes. You look at a blonde, you're like, eh. You look at a brunette.
Does anybody here? Does anybody here know why does a hound bark on trail?
And not a Labrador?
There's lots of dogs. Why does a hound bark on? What makes that hound dog sound off while he's trailing?
Here's a good example too, because I was with Pinell County Sheriff's Office, and the man trackers were German Shepherds, Labradors, and they didn't go hit a trail and bark. They just took that trail and you followed your dog.
Yeah.
So that's their DNA, right? Is that it's just that breed that does it instead of like a Leica, like you said. When does your Leicas bark? Or
when they're looking at it.
When they're looking at it. Yeah.
Yep. If my great dog opens his mouth, he's looking at it.
Well, I'm gonna make Derek happy here, because isn't that the dog you want on a bobcat?
Let me tell you something. In general speaking, if you could do it, and I'm not saying you could, I'm not saying I could, I'm not saying I would want to, but if you could train a bunch of dogs that would only bark when they were looking at the animal, you catch the shit out of South Texas, where there's lots of bobcats. They don't hear you coming. They don't start trotting away. It's just boom, caught, you know. And that's the way our hog dogs are in general. You know, down here, most people use cur dogs for hound dogs, you know, for hog dogs. They don't use hounds. Them hogs, you hunt them more than 3 times and they hear a dog bark and they're running. You want silent dogs. Yeah.
Same with bear.
That's how they catch them brown bear, man. That's why, like, when my Karelian is older and more better, I want to take him everywhere I can take him and hunt different game in different places and document it, because I'd be very curious to see how that would go. Because they have dogs like a Norwegian elk hound. They work almost just like our hounds here. They open on trail and they bark their ass off, and they get in there and they'll run a moose or a bear for miles and miles and miles. But those quick catches, that's the Karelians and the Russo-Europeans and dogs like that. They get in there and they don't make a noise until they're all over the thing. And remember, they only got 1 or 2 dogs, and they're catching brown bear and moose.
Yeah.
And they can't drive, so it's within walking distance. And that's the thing. That's how they catch lions with the Ridgebacks back in the day.
Who wanted that dog from Daniel Cornelius? Was that Rick Cooley that was calling and asking about that dog?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Rick. There's Daniel Cornelius. I don't know if he still has it, Daniel, the dog that was supposed to go to Madison. But Rick was asking about where that dog went. So there you go. If you guys just look him up over there or private message him or whatever. I drifted dog.
The problem that you have and once again, there's so many different factors because y'all have rock out there.
Yeah, lots of it.
And so it allows that scent to be held. There ain't no dog gonna track a 2 or 3 day old lion track in down here. The conditions won't allow for it, especially when it's dry, mainly. But that scent's not going to hold in dust. And so you could have the coldest nosed dogs in the world. You could have bloodhounds. The conditions are only going to allow it to go so far. And that's why so many people have these debates based off of what they know and what they hunt and where they hunt and where they hunt with. And those factors change depending on where you're at and location and elevation and scent conditions. And so,
where those debates need to be handled. They need to be handled in the field. Just like a fight, right? We can sit here and say, I'll beat your ass, or I'll sucker punch you, or I'll elbow you, knock you out. But it don't matter until you're in the ring.
All right, honestly. Norman.
Stormin' Norman, here we go, boy. Hey, his last adventure, Chris, was hounds and what? Rick Cooley can tell us. Knuckles and hounds or something like that. You went on a one-on-one competition hunt, and then you went on a one-on-one UFC fight or some shit. You'd have to ask Rick, but
is he on YouTube? I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
You heard it here first, folks. The one-on-one Lion League coming your way, hosted by Chris Watson.
There you go. But you know what I mean? If you took your dogs out and if you spent a couple weeks and you ran the Lycas and you ran the running dogs and you ran the beagles and you ran the red ticks and that's when you know what's up. But I don't think you're going to see much difference in the end result, right? You're going to hopefully catch something. And it goes back again to preference.
I'd like to look into the legality of a no-kill competition hunt out here. I'm pretty sure it's legal. I got to double check a little bit more.
Well,
but
if you're not killing it, it's not a competition, really.
I'd like to have a 24-hour or 48-hour non-hunting judge type, catch as many as you can with a back number and whatever, video proof and the non-hunting judge scorecards, the whole thing. It wouldn't be hard to organize, and I think that we would probably get guys from all over the country.
I think you should do that during rendezvous. Y'all should have the opening day. Everybody puts $100. Everybody puts $100 into the pot.
Yep.
The night before, we get directions where you're going, and first text message of a bear. With you holding up a certain number of fingers, we'll give you that number in the morning.
We'll give you a back number like rodeo or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Metadata don't lie.
Yeah. And, but you said something earlier, Chris, and I think you're right. So,
whoa,
just imagine if you hunted every day,
Yeah.
with any kind of dogs. It's going to depend on how much game you have, but you catch some things with any dogs.
If you're hunting every day, though, Cody, you're hunting the areas you know, and it brings me back to Alex, the Leica guy, Alex,
Yep.
who went to the Gilas because he looked up all the camping and all he did his research, and he knew there was a high concentrated bears there, and he went in and he caught bears. But that's doing your homework. Like us guys like me, I'll just go in an area, and I'll like these circle riders. You're old school circle riders. You're not really out there to kill. You're out there to run your dog, and you're out there to get out, peace of mind, be on a mule. It's a whole different scenario, and maybe a whole different
Brett Vaughn.
preference. Yeah, exactly
Brett
right.
Vaughn, where Brett
Mhm.
lives, if you find a lion track, you better trail it because you probably ain't going to find another one.
Yeah.
You know, versus Cody King in South Texas finds a bobcat track, and it's that cold. Reuben Lossman's famous line: "Piss on this, let's go find one we can run." You know,
That's
and
Derek's theory right there.
yeah,
Yes, sir. Because
My
I mean,
theory is let's find the hardest place to hunt and
Let's
drive
go
to
with
it.
Casey.
yeah.
He'll
Drop
drag you
off some
down
damn
stuff.
dogs that
and
don't know what they're running.
I love
But
it
it's
though. 'Cause
all an adventure. It's all
Yeah.
an adventure, and that's why we're here.
down in
Yeah.
that border country, I mean, you can cut multiple line tracks a day. If they don't like it, I don't care. We'll go get another one. There's another one on the other side of this mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my whole philosophy. Which that's what Sonny was saying. Same type deal. You know, oh, it's just about what suits a fella. You know.
And in a certain place, you're going to find that the old red tick's going to catch you more lions. And in a certain place, you're going to find out that, man, that South Texas running walker is going to, that's what's going to get you there. On average, the most times, that's what's going to get you, and then you're going to find a place. I mean, a prime example. I know a gentleman that hunts in Oklahoma, and he changed to Eastern running walkers because South Texas running walkers are too trail oriented to consistently catch cats there. And he
But
needed a
you
dog that
can
trailed less.
you've proved though that if you go in and hunt hard enough, you're going to catch something.
Correct. But that's the difference is any dogs are going to catch something, but what's going to catch the most?
Now,
And
if you guys want to prove a theory, so all you got to do is tell Cody King he can't catch bobcats with a Leica, and he'll prove you wrong.
I already did that. You can. You
Yeah.
can. You can catch lion with them too.
yeah,
Not 20, but you can catch 2
yeah.
for sure, or 3.
Only
As
take
as
one.
as,
Only
as
take one to
Ruben
prove
would
your point.
as Ruben would say, and I'm always quoting Ruben, but he had a bunch of good ones. He'd say, "God dang, you ought to be able to find a dumb one every now and then." You know.
I'm still looking.
Yeah. Jeremy, I've been wanting to talk to you, and Chris sent me your number the other day, and I'm gonna
I tell you
I'm
right
gonna
now,
call you.
Jeremy, he'll
Just
call
text
you
me
when you least
first
expect it.
text me first because
You won't know the number. I'll send you
if I
his
don't
number.
know it, I just about won't answer it.
Yeah. God dang,
Yeah.
you probably had 3 people call you last week trying to give you $1 million, and you didn't answer the phone.
I don't know that. I always answer in Spanish, and then if they don't answer me back, I just leave it on the line and put
That's
it in my
funny
back
because
pocket.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
answer
I
in
tell you,
Spanish.
spam from Eastern
I'm gonna
India.
have to learn Spanish.
They don't. They don't.
I just
They don't
I
know
answer
Spanish.
I answer them and tell them I'm in
But
jail.
we're gonna have a very interesting future here in with Derek and with Casey because they're going to get 2 of these dogs, and you're going to be able to get a report. You're going to be able to take a South Texas running walker and you're going to put it with Casey's pot liquors and you're going to see what it does. And he'll be able to tell you. And then you're going to put it with Derek's Leicas, and it's like opposite ends of the spectrum, and we'll be able to get both opinions from both individuals.
Yep.
And it will be very, very interesting to go hunting 2 rendezvous from now and take my pack of dogs and also take Casey's pup and Derek's pup and see how those 2 dogs compared to the pack that they came from, you know.
Yep.
And
Well, I'll have one of Casey's with me next year. So
Me too.
yeah,
One of
Yeah.
Casey's and one of Kenny's.
it's
Kenny's is a
already
lazy dog.
mine's already out here running cats.
There you go.
That's
Being
good.
trained.
That's good.
They're house cats, but you know,
Hey, cat's a cat, right?
And I'm gonna get a pup to Clayton as well, and Casey's buddy from New Mexico,
Yeah.
and I want to get him a pup, and let both them guys hunt them and see what they do. It'll be interesting.
It will be interesting. And I think more of these theories and experiments need to happen and need to be documented, you know, just like more interviews need to happen, you know, more, the world needs to kind of know about the hound world. You know, I kind of get, I've had people like, oh, don't be afraid, post everything. And, you know, and we are gun shy, you know, we don't want nothing to be used against us. And I think the problem is there are some things you should post, obviously, and some things you can't post. But
So I have a question for you though, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But are you not posting it because you're embarrassed of what you do? Are you
No.
are you not posting it because you think what we do is unethical?
personally, I don't post it myself because I kind of don't want anybody knowing what I do. Period. Not
No,
just.
and I
not
agree
just
with
that.
you. Just so you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate. But
So here's
should
a
we
great
not
example.
post? Should we not post certain things that we encounter as houndsmen during our hunt because what we encounter and what we do is unethical?
That's the
I
danger. is that
I
you
would
don't-
love to be able to post everything. Now, shooting something and then watching it bounce on the ground in public, that's something you show your friends on in your video on your phone. But as far as posting it where the whole world can see, I mean, I posted both of my son's bears last year, but it was a shot, and I didn't really post dead pictures. But
Yeah.
that's just. I think we're getting, you know, and I was talking about Chris Powell's trophy hunting podcast he just did, and he's kind of like, you know, trophy's been a word that the antis have took and used against us. And Chris Powell is right. Him and Seth said we should take it and make it something good, because obviously trophy doesn't just mean you're gonna cut the horns off. This ain't a Bambi show anymore, you know. And trophy is my trophy is meat, right?
Well, people
So-
play football, golf, baseball, soccer, hockey for a trophy.
Well, he used, you know what he used too is gardening. When you grow that big old tomato, what do? You post it. That watermelon, your corn, whatever. And I get it. And I think we just got to be more strategically placing our social media to where if someone because it's easy to make a non-hunter an anti-hunter than it is.
Very
It's
easy.
easier
Very
than it is to take and make a non-hunter a hunter. Now you can have a non-hunter vote for you and this goes politics now. It's you can make a non-hunter vote for it, but the problem is I think Chris is right. We're hiding a lot of our stuff, and they're not. They're taking our stuff and they're making it horrible. Like the two
We gotta
guys sitting on the drinking beer, and and the 30 dogs coming out of a truck. And I heard that story was they picked up all the dogs a mile down the road. They went over there and they let them go out because they were picking everybody up. But that's the stuff that they're doing dirty to us.
What video? I haven't seen it. So what was it?
So I recorded a webinar, and at the first of the video, they had two guys. You remember that, don't you, Derek? Two guys sitting on the tailgate drinking beer, and then someone opens the truck.
That was the satire video from the 90s, actually. I think the two fat guys drinking beer.
Yeah, and they showed a dog fighting a lion and falling off the boulder. But the way the video looks, it fell off a cliff. But I also heard that dog, someone knew that hunt, and that dog fell off a 4-foot boulder. But that's not what it was.
Does that make? Yeah.
What's that?
And like I say, I'm just playing devil's advocate. And the reason that I'm doing it is a few months ago. All right. What difference does it make if it was a 4-foot boulder or a 40-foot cliff? They fall off 40-foot cliffs all the time.
They do. But that non-hunter sees that
the
as
nature of the terrain and everything. I mean,
well, it is. And how many dogs have fell off a 40-foot and lived?
Hell, my dogs get eaten by alligators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, and I'll tell you where this came from. This hillbilly that I was talking to on the phone was having this argument with me, and I was basically arguing from your perspective. And this is what he told me, and I thought it was pretty interesting. He brought up the ethical thing. He goes, "Are you doing things that are unethical?" And, I stopped and thought about that, and I'm going to admit this on here. But there's been a time or two in my life, in my career of hunting, where I was put in a situation where there was some things happening that I didn't like, and especially, dogs killing game or something, and there's things that I flinched at. And if I flinched at it, just imagine what the normal world's gonna think about it,
The common public. The common public that has no education or knowledgeable of a hunt. And I say that because I was sitting in the doctor's office. A guy mentioned a bear, and all of a sudden a guy walks out, opens the door and said, "Did someone say bear?" And I said, "Oh," and I literally sit there on a little soapbox talking to these older people that live up in Show Low, Arizona, that have the second homes, and they don't want to see bears killed. They just don't want bears breaking into their house.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to explain to them the whole, and a lot of people, here's where they say, "Oh, well, they were here first." Yeah, but you bought the house where they were here first. So you're just as guilty as anybody else. And then you put out a bird feeder.
In their neighborhood. Yeah.
And then you put out a bird feeder, or your trash is full, overflowing, or you throw dead meat or your leftover bacon grease. A bear, how many receptors does a bear have in his nose? They've recorded 40-mile bait piles that a bear has went to, or a carcass. So they can smell, and they're just hungry. And when you got a year like this, where the drought is horrible, there's no food, there's no water. There's bears in Casa Grande, there's bears in Holbrook, there's bears in St. John's, there's bears coming down to Springerville, Concho. There's bears in places that are not typically a bear. But if you're running around the city at midnight, you're going to travel until you find a restaurant that's open. And then you're going to go eat there. And that's all the bear's doing. They're being a bear.
Yeah. And I think Chris won't let you turn loose on that restaurant.
Yeah. I think the biggest danger of it all is, regardless of, why it's happening or who says what, is if we don't control the narrative, then if we don't tell our story, then Joe Public don't know our story. So when Jamie Anti tells him, whisper, whisper, these evil guys doing these bad things, that's the only story he's ever heard, and he believes it. And that's why I think it's important for us to tell our story outside of our echo chambers and present the narrative in a good way to try to give them something else to think about at the very least.
But, and you talk about controlling the narrative. Who defines? I mean, 40 years ago, if my grandmother saw somebody say fuck on television, she'd have had a heart attack. She'd have had a heart attack. And I look at TV now.
Oh, nudity, sex.
Yeah. Look how
cursing.
that's changed.
Mhm.
And so the norms are going to move back and forth and what's acceptable. But if, and I'm trying to remember how he worded this, but if you just see it once, it's an extreme. It's an, you know, it's shock value, shock and awe, versus if it's normalized, you know. And in the same aspect, 40 years ago, Walt Disney was making movies about lions and dogs and hounds
That was
that were named Wetback Hound, you know.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
So look
And
how
Well,
much that's
you look
changed.
at Old Yeller, they were hunting hogs with dogs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Savage thing. Same
Yeah.
thing. I want to respond to Jim Nanny real quick. I think posting causes tree huggers to cause more restrictions for hunters. But that mindset is why Oregon, Washington, and California no longer have the ability to hunt big game, because they tried to hide what they did. Nobody controlled the narrative except for the antis. They're gonna say we're bad guys no matter what we do. If they never get another picture of us doing anything, in 40 years, they're going to be showing pictures from 1982 talking about these guys are still doing this barbaric stuff. If we don't take steps to, like Cody said, to normalize what we're doing as a normal part of life, a normal part of wildlife management, and something that's okay to do, then when they show one picture of a bear shot or a lion shot or a cat stretched or whatever, then it's the craziest thing these people have ever seen, and we're all demons, and
What
they
was
got to
that?
put it up.
What was that movie? The documentary about lions from the guys in
Lionheart?
Nevada that did the
Lionheart.
documentary and then said, "Oh no, we don't want nobody hunting here," and tried changing the laws or whatever.
Yeah, Lionheart.
Lionheart. And I think us as houndsmen have to be careful. There's a fine line. One thing that I didn't like in that movie or that documentary, and I'm not calling these people liars at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm sure everything they represented was true. But they talked about eating the game. And then they went and looked through their freezer and they had lion steaks and bear steaks. I don't know what all they had, but they had all this stuff in the freezer. And I think that sometimes it's very easy for us to want to tell bunny huggers what they want to hear. And we want to make it seem like we're the good guys. There's good houndsmen and we're the good ones and there's the bad guy, you know. And I know there's people here that eat lion. You eat 10-year-old chicken out of a freaking jar. So
Yeah, you ate it too.
And bear meat and all of that stuff. But I think when we represent it that way, are we saying that if you don't eat it, we shouldn't be allowed to do it?
Yep.
And so I think we have to watch our arguments, because I don't eat bobcat, just like Jeremy probably don't eat coon. And that documentary presented, you know, like, oh no, look at my freezer. I've got all of this. We eat all these lines. We eat all, you know, and I don't like that. You know, I making justifications because, you know, that didn't need to be in that documentary. They didn't want to put that in that documentary. That was a planned effort between them. They said, hey, we're making this documentary. We need to make sure and have a section about how you don't waste the game. And they put that in there. And maybe they eat lion every meal 3 times a week. I don't know. But the vast majority of hunters don't.
I can probably tell you why they did that, and it's because the other side said we're just stripping pelts, and why kill something if you can't eat it?
And
But
that's
we do. That's my point is
No,
we do. We do.
And that's where the trophy hunting comes in. They
that
think that
defensive stance is the problem. As long as we're responding to what they're saying instead of telling our own story free of itself, then we're losing. I think, and until the law says we must utilize this meat, then we don't even need to address that as an argument.
well, it does. Big game, you're supposed to take it out of the field, right? And lion and
Not
bear, big
everywhere.
game. Not
Not
everywhere.
everywhere.
I'm talking Arizona.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like right now, our lion fight is Arizona, and I'm sure they're going to come back. But I think that's the reason they did that, and I
But
think
what about
they fed
raccoons?
everybody.
What's
People eat
Arizona's
raccoons.
what's
Oh.
Arizona's regulations on raccoon? Do you have to bring it out?
You don't have to eat. It's not big game, only big game. So raccoons,
Sing-
coyote, bobcat.
What's the difference from a PETA ethical standpoint? If you're just talking about an ethical standpoint, what's the difference between a mouse and a moose? A life is a
Nothing.
life.
Life
And-
is a life.
How cute does an animal have to be before?
And that's why I
they
don't
tear up
understand why
But-
these bunny huggers have gravitated to the predators so much, you know?
Because a lion is a mystical animal, and right now the lion is the trend.
and the
Yeah.
wolf,
Right.
and
Well,
the
they
gravitate-
grizzly
well,
bear, and the magic, and the great spirit, and the tomfoolery that they don't even understand. It's
They
trending
gravitate-
food.
They gravitate to it because there's no money backing it.
Yes, sir. That's
There's-
That's
my
exactly right. It's an
The Elk
easy target.
Foundation,
Easy target.
Turkey Foundation, Bighorn Sheep Society,
But-
Whitetails Unlimited, Ducks Unlimited, you know,
the
bird hunters.
PKC.
But no
Pro
matter
Food.
what, if we say we eat them, they will take that and say, "Oh my God, look at guys, they're eating this animal now." So no
Well, I
matter
don't
what we
eat-
say,
I
they're
don't
gonna.
eat raccoon just because, but I have people that I give them to that do eat them.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
I
I'll
don't
take every
advertise
bear
that.
or lion someone kills.
I
I'll
don't
take
advertise that. I trapped for 6
Mhm.
years. I did try bobcat one time, Cody, and no, sir, I don't want that again. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I shoot
And they
stuff,
fed
and I skin it, and I don't eat it.
at the premiere. They fed people lion.
I really do want to look into the competition thing, because where there are no bunny huggers, there's no bunny huggers in Illinois talking about end the raccoon hunting, because it's a $1 billion industry.
Hogs. Why aren't they after hogs? They show some dirty videos of them dogs and hogs
Because they're not a native animal.
because they're a
And they-
dirty rat.
But it's I think if we can monetize our sport to a level that gives us protection, look at
Well, we
just like you said,
definitely-
look at the deer hunters.
It's
You know,
already monetized.
Bighorn
You pay
sheep.
for
big
tag, and
money.
you pay for a hunting license.
But it ain't monetized enough. Not
No.
like, not nowhere near like the PKC
But-
or like
But you
Ducks
take
Unlimited.
the states that can hunt mountain lions, and how many lion hunters are actually there?
Probably a lot more than you would think. I would imagine there's probably a
right.
bunch.
Now you take that. How many deer hunters are in that same state?
And that's
100,
my-
1,000-fold.
That's my whole argument on the barrier to entry. Is
How
like,
many bird hunters are in that state?
like we don't have a Fred Bear. Like our forefathers kept it all close to the vest, wanted to keep people out. Whereas you had Fred Bear that wanted to make archery and deer hunting accessible to everybody.
Well, that
You
was
know,
an everyday occurrence when Fred Bear was doing it.
It was a trend.
Everybody,
It was a trend.
everybody did it.
that's what I'm saying though. If we could make it more accessible to
What
more people,
what
and we
has
could
more
bring in more
mon
cash flow.
I mean, it
what
used
has
to
more
be the answer
monetization?
was God gave us domain over the animals.
Right.
You know, that used to be that was the excuse back then. You know, that's where it started when they first started to have to be excused. Well, haven't you read the Bible? God gave us domain over the animals, and you know, and that's just changed and changed and changed over the years. But like I said, I think we just have to be careful with our justifications for
Yes,
Well,
sir.
they
what we do.
well, let's go back to that, Cody. They killed lions in the Bible.
Yeah, yeah. But what percentage of the American
What
population nowadays,
religion
especially
has
in the blue states that are losing hunting rights, care about what the Bible say? You know,
Nobody.
a
no,
hell of a lot less than it was
yeah,
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Right.
absolutely.
But
And where's the most monetization right now? PETA,
What do you mean?
Jesus, they make more money than anybody.
but
Well, yeah, but we
what has California and Oregon and Washington done? How did they fight this fight? Did they do it by not posting stuff on Facebook? How, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to these questions.
Yeah,
But what is obvious is it didn't work. You
yeah,
know,
and
it.
that's the thing. I heard that guy say when they lost the vote in Oregon, my fiance's uncle was there at the meeting. He said there were 2 hunters there.
Yeah.
2 hunters showed up to the meeting when his county lost lion hunting with dogs and bear hunting.
What's Louisiana like, Jeremy? I mean,
Just about.
it's not an issue you even have to worry
No,
about, is it?
no, that's a way of life.
Yeah.
I mean, our governor is a hunter. He throws an alligator hunt to raise money for his campaigns.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and
And that goes across political lines. I mean, red, blue, or
yeah,
independent,
correct.
whatever.
Yes.
They all just about, except for in the major cities, and that's the only, and a lot of them do.
And that's why I think this battle has to be won with lobbyists. You know, I don't know what could be done, but the guy that's in office right now and his sons that are hunting sons of bitches and all of their friends are the guys that could do something about it on
absolutely.
a federal level. And that goes back to Scott from England. And I apologize. I always call him freaking Scott from England because I don't even know his last name. But
Scott Allen, isn't it?
Scott Allen, yeah. And, you know, and that goes back to someone help me remember his argument. Cultural, it's a form of discrimination.
No, he called it. Damn it! I posted it. It's
So,
come on, Derek, you remember everything. It's
you
minority. We're the
cultural
Ethnic
minority.
ethnic
yes. There you
minority.
go.
So,
There you go.
Chris, you brought up falconers earlier, and you just said that made me think. So, falconry is recognized by the United Nations as a human cultural activity
And
because it's the
that's
second.
where it has to go.
It's
That's the
the
only way this
second.
battle is going to win.
Yeah,
You cannot win this fight if the decision on what can be done is made by voters. You
it is
cannot win.
no, you can't. It is because it's the second oldest field activity of
Yeah.
humankind, and the first oldest is hunting with a dog.
Yeah.
So we have to get that kind of protection because, like a lot of cities and counties in the state of California tried to illegalize falconry, and they couldn't. They weren't allowed because it's a human cultural activity. It's protected, right? To my understanding,
And
we
that's the
need that
second.
kind of. We need that kind of protection. Like
On
if
a
you look
federal
at,
level.
yeah, and like I always bring up Sweden and Norway and the way they do things, because I think they do it really, really well. And it would piss a lot of guys off if we did it like that, because again, they're allowed only 2 dogs. They can't drive trucks, that deal. But if you
And
hit
that's where they kill you. Even if you get that, they regulate you to death and say, all right, you can run hounds for November 1st through the 3rd, you know.
but
And
but they fill their quotas way fast, way
Yeah.
fast. They fill them so fast, and everybody hunts. It's a normal thing. If you hit a deer or a moose in Sweden, and you are required to have a dog handler there to track that wounded game within 2 hours, or your insurance will not cover your car, and you'll be fined heavily. Like it's the law. If they're spotting stalking and they shoot something, they have to get a dog there right within 2 hours, or they're fined by the law and they lose their license, I think, and all this whole, it's a big deal. Like they've got it so into their governmental protections, and that's very contrary to what America, we want less government, not more. But when, like Cody said, when the people are making all the choices, then we're going to get run out of town.
in the
We got
store,
to have
big
some
cities.
level of, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because
you
the
got to
people,
protect the culture above the
Yeah.
voting.
we are
Yeah.
the minority by far.
Yeah.
We're the smallest group of people. We got to get that and we are a cultural ethnic group. We really are.
Eskimos can go harpoon whales,
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so there's
We just have
ways to that.
Yeah, we just have to.
What
I think it's
happened to the
coming.
freaking National Houndsman Alliance bullshit that was going to do all this?
I
Really?
think we need to.
It didn't take off, and I'm gonna tell you why. I can let me speculate why it didn't take off. And I've talked to like Chris and all that, and it's a tough gig to get going. And I think I'm the only hound organization in Arizona, and
Yep.
I mean, just to get money from a houndsman is wrong. You're not going to do it. We have to do what the other side does and get money from the common public. And that's where spreading our word and making what we do appeasable to the people.
I think we change our name to American. I think we run campaign ads. I think we run competitions with a 50% payback. Do it just like a rodeo. Go the Roger Dale route and watch it blow up. And then I think we use that money to lobby for cultural protection at the highest level. I think that's the move, man.
Let me tell you something. I hunt bobcats. There's bunny huggers that love bobcats. There's bunny huggers that want to save the bobcats and help preserve the bobcat populations for generations to come. There's nobody that wants that more than me, because if there ain't no bobcats, I can't run them. And it has to be formulated on a national level. You have to pay for Facebook ads. You have to have groups within groups within groups. And there's absolutely no reason why one houndsman organization can't be tied to the Save the Bobcat organization that's getting donation buttons. Click here to donate $1. You can't get the money from just houndsmen, but
Yes,
it
sir.
can be worded, it can be directed in a way in which the bunny huggers and the houndsmen can come together
We
to a
need Sarah
certain
McLaughlin.
organization and donate together to preserve. And then we have their money too, and there's it can be done. It can be done. It's easier said than done. It's easier for some jackass in South Texas to tell y'all exactly how you need to do it before he logs off and goes to bed. But and the problem that we have is there's guys like me and Jeremy all over this country that don't care what's going on in California or Arizona,
Yeah.
because where
I don't
we
know if you don't care. You
it's in
don't
our
really
blood.
know.
We care. We're just not involved. We're
You
too
don't
busy
know
hunting.
what's going on.
Yeah. And Jeremy knows, and I know, but there's lots of guys like us in these two states. They ain't worried about their hunting getting taken away, you know?
Yeah.
And
No, but I
so,
post about it just as much
You know
as
what
I
I
can.
hear though?
yes.
Here's another thing you hear. Well, if we can't run dogs and lions, I'll just run coyotes. Just like California runs coons, right?
Well,
So they already have this backup plan instead of having a plan to move forward.
yeah.
They have a
No.
plan if it gets taken away.
Well, they
And-
just tried to take our dogs away. You ain't gonna convince no game warden nowhere you're out there running quail with your walker dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
But it's
you have
a hard ticket to give.
you have to take that money and you have to use it to put
Wisely.
them on the defensive. Yeah,
Yep. Yes, sir.
I mean, if you have to find someone, and this is where it takes money. Chris can't do it. Chris has to feed his family.
Mhm.
And he ain't gonna make enough money from us 47 people on this live donating every Wednesday. It's not gonna work. You have to have a couple of people that are making $100,000 a year that do nothing for 40 hours a week, but program and arrange these things. Get some volunteers together in California and pay some money, hire some people, go door to door. They want to use ballot initiatives. We can use ballot initiatives too. You can find 100,000 people to sign off telling them that I'm the sexiest man in the state of Texas. If you try hard enough, you can
Yeah.
get anything on a ballot initiative.
Yes.
And you ain't going to get it passed, but you can get it on the ballot initiative.
And you
And
can
then
cost them $5 million defending that ridiculous joker every single time.
yes, and then the 13th time is things have changed and people are tired of freaking trans kids and playing women's sports. That's a big giant deal, and it pisses them off. And the county next to mine where I live voted for Donald Trump. First time a Republican won that county in 110 years. Little shifts like that. Them guys go in there and just click that down ballot initiative, all Republicans, and what are the they're just pissed. And next time it'll be everybody's pissed off at the Republicans and they'll be doing it the other way. But one time you get it in, and then you got something back and you've gained some ground. And because when is the last time the bunny huggers lost any ground? We finally stuck it to them in Colorado, and that's because everybody came together. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of the reason why we won Colorado is because the bunny huggers went too much too far at one time and tied too much stuff to one bill. I think that if it would have been just the houndsmen by themselves, we probably would have lost. But they had a bunch of other stupid shit tied in there with killer plants and fur harvesting and there has to be a conversation protection component to get it into consistent. What formula will work that's exactly right.
Yep.
And
I think
what
the timing
happens is
I think
a group of houndsmen across the country, they come together, and I'm not saying this is what happened. I don't know what happened, but they come together and say, we're going to fight this. And then 3 months later, they're all arguing with each other and fuck that guy. And we don't want this guy. And you kick him out or I'm leaving. And it's just gone. Just gone. We're our own worst enemy. We are
Yep.
our own worst enemy.
our ego will be what
Yeah.
kills.
Yeah. That guy
And
said he's got better dogs than me. I ain't giving him 12 cents,
Well, look, here's a good example. Look at Florida. They got bear hunting back.
Yes.
Look at Louisiana. They got bear hunting back.
Montana just a couple years ago got a hound season back. Like the time is coming to where we
That's a
could get a
big
win.
deal.
We
That's a
could get a
super
win.
big deal.
People are recognizing all the same lies being told over and over again. The culture in this country is changing. Do you guys know who the most viewed public speaker on Instagram for the last 2 months is?
I don't know.
An Austrian painter from Germany in the 1930s. AI has translated those speeches, and that is the most viewed public speaker on Instagram.
Is that Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
because all of his speeches are translated now. So now everybody hears what he said, not what somebody said. He said. And it's people's like that's like 5 years ago, nobody would ever have thought that could be possible. There's no way a
Yeah.
bunch of that's going to trend, no way. But like that's an
I
extreme
s-
example, but we're changing, the country's changing. The time
how
to get this
how
stuff
long
corrected is
ago
just-
has anyone in this roundtable discussion ever thought once in the last 10 or 15 years that, man, there may never be another Republican president?
Yeah.
I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
After the Obama days and all that shit.
Mhm.
I mean, I thought, man, Republicans may never. I mean, or maybe 30, 40 years from now. And Donald Trump elected twice in 3 elections, especially this last. I mean, I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming.
It wasn't something on top of my list that said, yeah, this is going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of
Yeah.
saw it coming with Donald Trump. Like you say, it could happen. It's a
Mhm.
possibility. But if you'd have told me that in 2015, I'd have told you were full of shit. When the day Trump came down that escalator, everybody was laughing at his ass,
Mhm.
and so it's amazing. I mean, I can remember thinking to myself, man, it may be a long time till there's another Republican president. And it's amazing how that shift happens. Look at Florida. I mean, I can remember as a kid, Florida Florida made the decision on the elections, and they were counting dimpled Chads. You remember all that shit from the George Bush election?
Yep.
I mean, and it was Florida was the first state called, won by
a
a
fucking
ton.
landslide.
It's amazing how politics change, and I never really saw that as a thing until we lived long enough to see it, I guess. But the vote the hounds back to the woods because the bears are eating their groceries. I disagree with that, Wayne. The bunny huggers, the tree huggers, they don't care,
They'll
because the
close
bunny
their
huggers
eyes.
and the tree huggers that are making these votes, they don't live where there's bears. They don't live where there's wolves. They live in downtown Austin, Texas. They live in downtown Los Angeles.
Phoenix, Tucson.
Downtown Baton Rouge.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes,
You
sir.
mark my words, Texas will be a blue state.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
coming. It's coming. Austin,
Well,
Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, it's coming.
and it's from
And
all those people that were sick of where they were living, moving
Yep.
somewhere else, and
Texas
bringing
just and
bringing it to it.
Texas just passed a law to penalize companies who don't do business with foreign countries. Like that ain't very American, is it? Like
Yeah.
it just passed. Like so, if you don't give a bid to this company from this country, now you'll get a tax hit, or you could be criminally liable, or you'll be sued. Like it's crazy stuff going on in the world, but like things are tumultuous. So like stuff
the
that
the
sounds
the
enough.
the the, the two are very, very, the future of hounds is very, very tied to the two.
Yes.
Those
Well,
two
this is
things are very tied
If we
is
together.
don't
is,
if we
is
don't
this
win politically, we won't win at all, because
well?
Joe Public doesn't give a hoot in hell how long our family's been running dogs, or how much it means to my children, or how much it lights our souls on fire when we see that young dog tree his first game. They don't give a crap about any of that. They don't care about tradition or history, or how much we love it, or how much our dogs love it. They don't care about none of it. Joe Public in downtown LA or Austin or wherever, they don't care about none of that. They don't care
And
if we eat it or don't eat it. They don't care about 10,000 years of history. They
and
don't care. We
here's
got
the
to get
problem.
political protection, and that's the only way.
Well, here's the problem too. We'd rather sit here and tell hound stories, but what do you know about what's politically happening in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California? California almost brought back the running dogs, right, to Hayes
Yeah,
Bears.
that was close. It
It
was
was
a
a very
close
close
thing.
one. I mean, it was a very close one, and you
And
had
was that a
the
statewide election, or was that a board committee election? How did that work?
It was a commission thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And literally, there was a guy sitting there said, a well-placed pine cone will keep the bears away. That was their argument. That was the Bear League's argument. A well-placed pine cone will make the bear go away.
Yep.
Asked them two dead guys in Arkansas about pine cones.
Yeah.
That's the two guys that just got hospitalized by that brown bear. You know, ask the old lady that just got ate in Florida
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
So when you say, is this hounds or political bullshit? Hounds is all about political bullshit right now.
Always
And
has been.
that political bullshit, that if we don't talk about it, nobody knows about it. And next thing you know, we're another California.
Yep.
Like, I didn't know what was going on in Colorado until someone told me. And I'm all, what? And then we got involved.
And
But-
you know, there's a lot of guys talking about, oh, well, they're not going to take, you know, I'm sure there's 1,000 guys in Ohio talking about, well, we'll never take our coon hunting away. And I've said it as much myself. But you know what? When all of our daddies were our age, everybody in California and Oregon were like, we've been running lions here since it was a state. They're never going to take that away. Well, now guys our age, if we were from there, we never would have done it before, because it was before we were big enough to collar a dog last time they were allowed.
Yep. And what they do, they regulate them out. You couldn't use GPS. You couldn't have
Yep.
more than so many dogs. During
Yes.
season, you had to have one guy like you said, just like guns, right? Oh, you guys can have you can have an AK, you can have a Glock, you can have. Oh, guess what? We can't sell the ammo. We can't sell the magazines. You're not allowed to have more than a 10 round. And they're doing the same thing. The hounds, they'll do the same thing, just like they did in California.
And we're easy to beat in the political arena when none of us are standing there.
Because
like
because we don't want to hear the political bullshit.
Yep.
Jeremy, maybe you just run for president, and if you win, you can solve all of this shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I have ran for office before, and I've got my fill of it. That shit can be addicting, but it can it's a nightmare.
It's politicianing is a tough gig. And I had a guy tell me, why don't we just get our legislatures? That's their job. And I told this guy, he says, it don't cost nothing. It's their legislators' job to do this for us. And I said, it cost them $300,000 in Colorado to fight the title, just the title of that vote.
I believe it cost them $2 million to fight
altogether.
The whole thing. 2.2.
And Dan Gates said, I want to make $10 million, $5 million for Colorado and $5 million for the next fight. And they should have made $10 million. And he threw the math out there. If every hunter in the United States threw in $10, whatever it was, we'd have $10 million. And we should be. We buy cigarettes, we buy booze. Shit, people pay for porn.
Just like Cody said, we're
waste.
never going to save it on the backs of the hunters, because most of them are going to not give a shit. Most of them.
Hunters could save it. The hunters could donate $10 a month, every hunter, and have enough money to start an organization, a big organization that saved everything.
Yeah, but they're all talking about how they're too broke and too this. Like, well, for most of the time that y'all been seeing me, I promise you there ain't a broker guy in the room. You know, like, it's a little bit better now than it was for the past 8 months, but I'm telling you.
Well, you still donated. You donated time.
Yeah.
You bought tickets.
And when I had a little bit of money, by golly, this is where it went. Or it went in my fuel tank to go to the state house, or went over there to meet you till we go to New Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, I was walking around that joint with $6 in my pocket at that mountain lion conference. You know what I mean? I went to the state house and I was in the friggin' minus. You know, if I can afford to give time or money, then everybody can. And if you're got an excuse, you're lying to yourselves. You know, like, you just don't want it bad enough. You gotta, they go to the movies or buy beer. You know, last time I bought a case of beer I can't friggin' remember.
Or do you just write it off?
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan took the lion hunting away. I bought a property in Cochise County to hunt there. Only hunting You know, or do you write it off and you say, do you accept the fact that it's coming regardless of what we do, and we might as well enjoy it while it lasts?
What's the best thing you could do right now? Every houndsman in the United States should form together and attack California and get their stuff back, because if you can get California back, you're doing real good. And that's
So how many
everyone.
hunters are left in? I mean, they haven't had hunting for so long. How many hunters are left in California?
There's a lot of dog
There's a
guys
bunch
over
in
there.
I
Really?
think
Northern
I don't know.
California.
I think they had like 400 people show up to that boat and all in orange shirts and walk through and just say, I support, I support, I
Yeah,
support. It was hundreds. It was
there was
hundreds.
no
And that's
2
just
minutes.
no, it was just, they had 2 seconds and that was just, and it took hours. It took forever. And I think that, and that's just who showed up because not everybody came. There was guys showing up. So I represent this many such and such, and we support this, you know?
You have to be proactive, and you
Yeah.
have to choose that guy like Dan Gates. I mean, you can hate what he said, called me stupid. I don't care. I was stupid when he said your caucus, your sport. I'm like, what is that?
He called you stupid? Hell, I like the guy. What'd he say?
No, he said. So a lot of people pulled out of even Arizona Working Dog Alliance or raising money for him because he got on there and said, you know what the Sportsman's Caucus is? And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. He says, then you're the problem.
Yeah.
And he's right. I don't know none of that stuff because 90% of these hunters don't have no clue about politics, and we don't care to know. I do not want to deal with politics. There ain't a hunter in the country that wants
I
to
gave you the book on it.
I know. It's right
But
here.
we don't,
Right here on my
we
bed.
don't have to want to, but we don't have a choice. We got one choice, and that's either fight the fight or kiss it goodbye. If we don't
Right
care
there.
enough to kiss it goodbye, then I think the guys that don't care enough to fight, then I think that's part of the problem. But just because you don't know, I don't think you're part of the problem. But you gotta, when you find out, you gotta get after it. You know. And just like Chris says, if everybody donated $5, we'd wipe the floor with these jokers.
Well, Cody's
There we
right.
go.
You've got to
He-
have somebody
He explained
that
himself.
doesn't work to research all this and to let you know what's out there, or you don't know. Because,
Yes.
like he said, Chris has got a family to feed, so he's got to work.
Yeah.
You know, that's just like running for office. You can't run for office by yourself. It takes a team.
Yeah.
It takes a big team, and it takes a meticulous strategy, just like the antis. They got money.
And you
And
got to
they're-
have that one cutthroat son of a gun that don't care.
And what could you
Yep.
do if you even started an organization and took that $10 a month from as many people as you could get and put it into a money market account set up as a trust? What would be there 30 years from now? 30 years from now, if enough people got involved and said, hey, let's fund the fight for the future, throw your spare change, everybody. I mean, you could put millions and millions of dollars together.
I think people are afraid also to give people that control.
Yeah.
Because we have Sportsmen's Alliance, we have the Bighorn Sheep Game Society, the big, ABSS or whatever it is, Arizona Bighorn Sheep Society. Those guys got bank. And we should be on top of their list, considering that the lions love to eat bighorn sheep. And the best way to go find a lion that's killed a sheep is not spot and stock, it's a dog.
Bighorn sheep is the mountain lion's worst enemy in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
There's been more lions killed in the name of bighorn sheep than any other reason in the last 30 years anyway.
Same in California. That guy at the workshop, he said that when a lion attacks livestock or pets, any of that, they got a 3-strike rule. But if that joker kills one sheep, he's a dead dude.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, but they did, as far as I understand, the Sheep Foundation put a lot of money into Colorado.
They've put some money in it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but Arizona's a big horse sheep state, so they should be proactive.
yeah, we just
But
gotta.
that's my fault. I don't know politics. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to raise monies to get people together. If someone said, "Hey, I'll take AWDA because I know what I'm doing," and they knew what they were doing, there you go, and I'd be right there helping them. You know, tell me what to do. I'm
I
just
think,
redneck.
and I know I've told all of y'all this half a dozen times, but I don't think it will ever be very successful as Arizona Working Dog
That's what
Alliance.
I said from the
You got to
get go.
change that to American.
American, because you're never going to convince a guy in Maine to give his $10 to Arizona, and he'll never see the place.
And the other thing you have to do is, and I don't know how you could do it, but you could go to the Rick Coolies, and you could go to the Derricks, and you could go to the whoever's and say, hey, we need some donors. Go to all them coon clubs over there, sign up some of these donors, and you know, even if you had to say, look, I'll give you $200 for every year long donor you sign up, or you know, pay for it has to be funded.
Yep.
It has to be funded. You have to pay people for their time, or nobody's gonna do shit. That's just from a businessman's perspective. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and you can't do it by yourself.
No, you have to have ambassadors across this country. There should be an American Working Dog Alliance ambassador in
Every state.
every state in the 48 continental United States, at least.
Hell, the Hell's Angels got
And
chapters all over the place,
we
right?
should have one in Hawaii and Alaska too. They got dog hunters.
Yeah.
Well,
We need to have them there.
there's a Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation in like every parish in Louisiana.
Yep.
Yeah. No, there that you
There
have
are
to
no
do.
elk in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a damn. They have an RMEF deal in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they have for forever.
What's
You
a
know?
fundraiser that you could do and just have an ambassador and pay the ambassador? Say, look here, man, you raised $5,000 and we're going to give you $700 or what? I don't know what the numbers are, but
Yeah.
there has to be something because there's coon clubs all over the East. That's big time shit. And if you had American Working Dog Alliance,
We need
there
to be
is.
at Automotes. We need
The
to be at the
problem-
Grand American. We need to be at all that stuff.
The problem lies with the headbutting that goes on between the deer hunters and the hound hunters out here in the East.
Yes.
You know, hound hunting, unless you're running dogs for deer, shuts down during deer season.
Yeah. And maybe it needs to be done by a person that's maybe the ambassadors need to not be hound hunters. You know, hound hunters kids that are in college would be a good way to start, man. And go to those coon clubs, go to the National Quail Hunting Society, go to the CCAs, the Labrador Retriever guys, and say, man, we want to represent all of y'all.
Yeah, the PSA events, the canine departments, everybody, because they're trying to take away, e-collars. They're trying to take away canines altogether. They try to ban PSA all the time. It's not just us they're coming for.
Well, Chris had it right. He named it the Working Dog.
Yes. Yeah, I think it just needs to be an American, and there needs to be somebody. And how do you find those guys? I don't know, and maybe you need to put out a bulletin to here and Brett's deal and every single person on here post on Facebook that, hey guys, we're going live. I don't know, we're going to have some way for everybody to talk, but
and I'm going to start interviewing people from around the world. I've got some guys lined up, and if anybody in here is interested, I'll reach out to me. I'm going to start interviewing dog guys all over the world. And
I want to talk to Scott Allen, the guys in Spain and France that he's familiar with. they've all had this fight,
That's
and they have wonderful idea, and a lot of them have won this fight overseas as well. And don't get that wrong, a lot of them have lost, but a lot of them have won. And there's a lot to be learned because all this liberal bullshit started over there in the UK and all those
the
countries.
EU. It's worse over there than it is here. And they're 3 million people in the streets of London. You know, 500,000 in Australia. Like the tides are turning around the world, guys. Like now's the time that we can get some of these roots back.
Yeah,
Like if we can strike while the iron's hot, we can make something.
yeah. It could be done. And I'm telling you, the fundraising thing could be done. You need to hire, there's people that just do that, man. And you can get, but the fundraising's not going to be advertised as Arizona, as American Working Dog Alliance. The fundraiser is going to be
Save
written
the bear.
as one of the 12 nonprofits that are controlled under American Working Dog Alliance. And one of them is going to be the Bear Conservation of America. And one of them is going to be Bobcat, Wildcat, whatever you want to call it, Conservation of America.
Yep.
And that's how you get the money. And I'm telling you, you could fight the bunny huggers with their own money if you could just organize it and put it together right. And
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what else you could do too. And you did it by taking that lady hunting. I've done it on a very small scale, dealing with all of these biologists that collar cats and their perspectives have changed. But I got to sit in a truck with them for hours, and I know several of them that have changed their perspectives. But you could also openly work with, and maybe there's opportunities to reach out to, I mean, you're not going to reach out to PETA, but
Like
there,
Panthera, for example, that's an ally. We got an ally there, and people, when they talk in a room full of bunny huggers, the bunny huggers listen.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
A lot of work ahead of us. A lot
but
of
it's
work.
very easy to find 4 of us here and 46 listening that can all agree, and even not all agree, but we can all get together and kind of talk. But finding the people that can put in the time, it has to be funded. You have to be able to bill for your time. It has to be people that you can trust. I'm sure Chris, and the little bit of money that you've received, I'm sure you've had someone piss you off by, well, what'd you do with the money here? It, I, it's tough, but I think
Well,
you
that
can.
can always be answered by checks and balances. Comes out in
Absolutely.
like a monthly newsletter where
Mhm.
when
Yes.
Statement.
that's why I
Yeah.
got pissed off at the NRA because you're sending me all this crap that I don't want. Send that money somewhere else and fight my fight.
Yeah.
Well, that
No.
goes back to the whole thing too. If you can't or if you don't want to, you have to pay somebody to do it. You have to put the money down for somebody to fight for you.
You need booths. You need booths set up at these hunting conventions and hunting expos and
Shot show.
yeah, and sign up for our email newsletter. And can we count on you for a little bit of money? It's the problem with it is probably most of the guys sitting here don't like asking people for money.
That's a fact. That's
Yeah.
why the raffles make me happy because you have
You
a chance
always
to
want to
win.
raffle shit, but we don't need raffles. We need money.
Yeah. You need a donate button. The
Yeah.
first thing that pops up on any of those sites, other guys' sites, is a donate button.
Yeah.
And it's generally a scroll that comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you put on there, you got some lions with tracking collars on them, and these lions in this area are suffering from blah blah blah, and help us fund some scientific. And you're gonna have to take the money that you get and donate it to some causes. and do what you say you're going to do, but it allows us to get the money so that we can then use it for
Use the data.
other
Use the
fights
data.
and the data.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and when we're funding a study to wherever A&M or Cornell or whoever, when we're funding a study and crap comes down the pipe later and they pull out that scientist from Cornell, they're going to be like, actually, who do you think paid for this? It was these
Yeah.
guys, and they're on our team.
And then you can claim it. And look at California. California outlawed hunting with hounds. I've had 3 people contact me in the last year wanting me to go to California to use my hounds to capture lions so that they can collar them. And it's like, why don't you let someone from California, y'all already took all their hunting away, why don't you give a little bit of it back to them? No, I'm not going to come to California and collar lions because there's plenty of houndsmen right down the road that you can use.
Absolutely.
You got to make it appealing to them. Each
Yeah,
and every group. That's how
And they
you make
gotta,
it.
yeah, and they gotta pull up their big boy pants and realize that their pride ain't worth diddly squat
And they
if
got to
they
get
want to keep
something.
doing. Yeah,
Look at the NRA. How many of you had an NRA sticker or a Bassmaster sticker on the door of your room when you were a kid? Because they
Yep.
sent that free shit in the mail.
Yeah. Yep.
It
yeah. Every
all
kid I know had a friggin' PKC sticker. They give them out like hotcakes, candy on Halloween. You know what I mean?
I told Robert Chase that he's not allowed to join the raffles.
yeah.
Well,
Robert can't raffle shit no more.
well, he's got 37 collars and only a dozen dogs. You
He
know,
said he need.
And he's got
I said you already got an XL.
300,
I said he goes.
He's
I need
got
more collars. That's what he
50
told me the other day.
15 bags of dog food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah.
something needs to happen, and you got to have a plan, and you have to have people that want to help or give you that time, and that's the hardest thing is finding people. Dustin's
sir.
been helpful, but same thing. He has to feed his family. That's
Yeah.
what he's
Yes, sir.
doing right now, feeding his
And let me
family.
tell you something. When I got some extra time, I'm going hunting.
That's
Yes, sir.
I ain't gonna go ambassador for you. I don't want
I
to
know.
sound like a dick, but it's the
I don't want
truth.
an ambassador for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to deal with it. I wish we had someone smarter to do this, and I would donate my money if we had a good
Yes,
organization.
I'll send you money, and that's why
Mhm.
it has to be some people that aren't houndsmen. It needs
Mhm.
to. I tell you what, some of it needs to be
A
is the
retired
Alan
houndsman, at least.
Listalls in the world that don't hunt no more. They're retired and they're
Mhm.
well respected, and those are some of the guys. It needs to be the college kids, and wildlife association. There's a chapter on every freaking university in the state of Texas. Wildlife association. Join the working houndsman, the working dog association.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, you have to cater to not only houndsmen, you know and and you also have to provide a service, and it can't be just saving houndsmen, but there's a lot of things that can be discussed. There's a lot of I cannot tell you how many people across this entire country have reached out to me to ask about Chagas disease, just because I
Yeah.
did a couple lives with y'all talking about it.
Mhm.
So you put together this monthly newsletter or bi-monthly newsletter or whatever it is, and you talk about working dog things. What's new in the wormer world? I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to that have a lab that call me all the time. Hey man, this happened with my dog. What do I do? You know, and then you're providing a service. Hey, you sign up for annual membership and you're going to get a bi-monthly digital magazine that's going to have all of these things that we're not going to talk about. Cody hunting bobcats and Chris hunting bears and Jeremy hunting everything with 4 legs. We're going to talk about
Cattle.
Mainly cows.
yeah, we're going to talk about Chagas disease prevalence, and then next week we're going to talk about Ivermectin use, and you got to get some vets involved and get some vet. I mean, y'all
It's
got
a
me all
full
worked up
time
there.
job. It's a full time job.
Yes, yes.
But we
All
got to
right,
do it.
yes.
You know, we got to do it. It's like that. That's why I'm here. Is Colorado got spooky, and if not me, then who? Like, I don't have it in me to sit on my couch and be like, "Oh, I wish somebody would have went out there and talked to them at the state house." No,
Yeah.
I can't afford to pay somebody to do it, so I took my own butt down there and did it.
Yeah.
Well, there was an old saying that, if you can't do it yourself, you got to pay the man.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yep.
And have hunts, have a network,
Yep.
that this week we're gonna raffle off a bear hunt with the members, and you're gonna go
Well,
bear hunting with Derek, and this month we're having or this bi-monthly or this quarterly, whatever it is, we got a bear hunt, and next quarterly we got, oh man, go with the red ticks and do this, and then we got a hog hunt in South Texas, and then we got a bobcat hunt, and
Yep.
all of
well,
these things, selling points to your
Yep.
memberships,
mhm.
And we got to draw everybody
and
in.
that's where the houndsmen come in, because I would, if you had something like that put together, I will gladly tell you, whenever you want. You want to do a little deal amongst members? They come to South Texas. They stay in my kennels. I'll feed them. It'll be the trip of their lifetime. I'll take them to the King Ranch and we'll go hunting if that's what they want to do. And that's where the houndsman can come in. You can get
I think
guys
a
in.
lot of people would do that across the country,
Yes.
which is why you should probably almost have a hound rendezvous every month in a
Somewhere.
different state. Mhm.
Somewhere.
Or have a couple a year. You know what I mean? And they got to be in good places. Like, that was the only tough thing about ours, is it's really cool for us, but there was a lot of fellas that just, what in the hell, you want me to go where?
Well, yeah, but it's Arizona, and then all of a
Ain't
sudden,
no excuses.
that's what I'm saying. We started this as Arizona Houndsman Rendezvous, and we were getting people from Nevada, Colorado, Utah, Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana, Tennessee, like
I
all
think
over the place.
I think we should have multiples, and then when we have one in the east, we should have a truck hunt. Like, we could do that. We could organize something like that, and Jeremy knows everybody show up to that joker.
Yes.
And they'll sell the
You
truck
know.
in the parking lot so we can raffle it
Yeah.
off again.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it can be done. It's just going to take everybody.
Everybody.
Yes, sir.
And
We can do it.
and that's why I had high hopes for that Houndsman Alliance, because that's what they kind of had, was someone everywhere,
I've kind of diagrammed. I've kind of made a plan for that, and I have a plan also with some other ideas as far as, like you said, using everybody's money. I don't know if I told you about that, but like the bear hazing program, I want to start little stuff like that in the beginning, and if you can get a blueprint, and then you can hand that blueprint over to Texas or New Mexico or Nevada or Utah.
But I think we need a centralized command.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because we know what doesn't work. What doesn't work is the Kentucky Houndsman Association and the Oregon and the Washington Houndsman Association, Nevada Houndsman of Utah, and the Arizona Hound Hunters Association, and the Texas Tree Dog Society, or whatever. All those little tribes don't work because they all fell in the 90s.
But all
You know what I mean?
together, they
But
would
if
work.
we're the American Working Dog Alliance, if we've got everybody.
kind of like when the Sioux came together to fight Custer,
Yep.
they had one last hurrah. And just thinking about it, you could have members say, hey man, we need some members to volunteer to take another member on a quail hunt with dogs and a duck hunt and all. Man, it can be done. And that's the incentive for being a member. That's something that you get, that with the newsletter and the monthly hunt giveaways. People sign up for that shit, you know.
Yep. And we could find a guy in every state that
Every
would take
state,
a guy
every state,
every for sure.
every
Oh
state.
yeah.
We could give away a hunt or two a month all year long, all
Yeah,
across this country.
and it would cost nothing. It
But
would
yeah,
cost nothing.
Nope.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
let's
would
make it
cost.
happen. Let's make it
We
happen.
let's do it.
So, I mean, if you truly want to make it happen, why put off today what you do? What is the next step?
Name change and
Organization, making a plan,
board of directors.
You gotta
finding
get
somebody.
you gotta get your name changed first.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. And you got to get your name changed, which is easy. And then you got to put out some Facebook posts to get a list started and saying, hey, we would like to talk to anybody with working dogs. Please email an application to this, and we would like to have you as an ambassador of the state to help inform. Because you have to have someone from every state that's going to tell you what's going on in their state.
Yep.
Yeah, as simple as a text or an email. Hey, because I don't know what's going on in Kentucky. I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on in Pennsylvania. I mean, there's
Hawaii.
Louisiana, Illinois. Like, there's so much stuff going on other places, and I really don't know about unless I know somebody in the state, or I got a guy in North Carolina. I call him and he'll tell me what's going on there.
And you pick them states. You're going to have multiple applicants for certain states, and you're going to come through here, and you can do 5 states per live for 10 weeks, and have everybody who's been a member on this live for the last year come in here. 47 guys. Hey, this is what we got. These are the resumes we got. What do y'all think? Let everybody vote. And kind of pick, and then get our base crew of guys established.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to start it.
Something has to be done, and not latter. It needs to be done sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No time like the present.
Yeah.
But there has to be an accountability for what there needs to be in that bi-monthly newsletter. There needs to be accountability of what money was every penny broken down into a
Oh yeah, you can print a statement out basically.
yeah.
PDF. Mm-hmm.
And everybody needs to understand that statement's going to be buying gas and paying for meals and
Oh, you're telling me that Bill Gates didn't have to take people to dinner?
oh yeah, nonstop.
I mean, and it wasn't Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It wasn't $42. It was $1,200.
Yeah.
It was
And
$1,900.
it ain't free if we got to go to Michigan and talk at their state house, or go to DC, for crying out loud, or go to California the next time they vote. Like that. Yeah, it's all got to be above board in the open. I think
But
Cody's right about that.
you have to have someone that's going to run it. That's their salary.
Yeah.
That's their salary.
Oh, you definitely have to have someone on the payroll. That's their job.
Yeah.
And I know a couple guys I'm going to call tomorrow. I haven't talked to them in a while. Been kind of quiet lately, but that's what I don't like when it's quiet, because that means something's going on.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll probably give you a holler tomorrow, go over some stuff with you, Cody. I thought I told you about some stuff. I might not have. Stuff I don't want to put on the air, because you never know. Them other bastards are probably watching, trying to figure it out.
We got guys in all their email lists and their webinars. They got guys in ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fact.
No, for sure.
Cody, you said, I'm kind of tired tonight, and you stayed on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I know it's 11 o'clock over there.
It is 11:10. Y'all got me all pissed off. I'm all riled
Hey,
up.
you started this one. You're the one that said, I'm starting a fight.
That passion's what it takes.
Let me tell you something. There's Rick Cooley, a wonderful guy, and Rick Cooley will give you his time, and he will go places. He will advertise. Then there's lots of guys like Rick Cooley across this country. You have to be accountable to guys like Rick Cooley, and they have to know that they're going to go represent you, and they're not going to be made a fool of. And everybody thinks highly of you, and no one expects that. But I mean, there's lots of guys. Jeremy's in Louisiana. I'm in Texas. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to do, but I'll be the first person to send one of my guys to go do it. The youth movement as well is very important.
100%. Yeah, I think that's like one of the most concentrated thing you should do is get into these schools and start some of these programs. I know a principal I just took hunting. He was a vet, and I mean we had good conversations, and he runs a school, and it's I think kindergarten to 8th grade, which is a perfect time to introduce some sort of outdoors activity. And then once you do a little outdoors camping activity, you get their permission to say, hey, why don't you guys come up Cholo? We'll go do some squirrel hunting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have to shoot guns or nothing. They just come up and
think
do some squirrel
about
hunting.
where they're teaching all this crazy stuff to
They're teaching it to the kids for a reason.
Yes, sir.
Look, Tim busted you out. He quoted you.
Yeah,
I'm here to start shit tonight.
that's exactly right.
Sirree.
I hadn't been on, and then Benny calls me and talks shit about Chris and Jeremy and Derek, and then Chris calls me and talks shit about Derek and Jeremy, and I was like, man, I ain't been able to start no shit lately, so I got some catching up to do.
Well, I got called out last week for not starting shit while I'm on the line.
But no, I enjoyed it, guys.
Yes,
And
sir.
We'll get together. We'll start trying to put something together, and
we need to get some Facebook. We need to get a list. We need to get an email address set up.
You got to start building that.
So you don't get bombarded on your normal email address, and you need to get everybody start posting it on Facebook. We're looking for ambassadors in every state that would be willing to start off, help us organize, provide us with information with what's going on in your state. This is what we're trying to set up. You're going to have to type up a whole deal and post it everywhere, and people are going to email.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to weed through them, and little by little, we're going to start putting a list together.
Yes, sir.
And then, then you could get with what's his name from Outdoor Dog Supply. Jason Doobie, the not Outdoor Dog Supply,
Full Cry magazine.
and then the magazine.
Well, he's not with W no more.
Oh, he was, yeah. Full Cry.
But we talk to him and say, hey man, what kind of
he has a magazine.
I know, that's why I'm saying his name. And say, hey man, we need a digital magazine, maybe. I mean, I don't know that we want to get in the magazine printing business, but we can get in the flyer printing business.
Yeah.
But get some ideas from him.
Yep.
But we need to come up with a plan, and we need to associate tasks. If you're really going to do this, we need to sit down and have this conversation. We need to get some ambassadors, and then the next time we talk about this, you need to say, okay, Jeremy, this is what we need you to do. Derek, this is what we need you to do. Chris, this is what we need you to do. Cody, this is what we need you to do. Rick Cooley and other ambassadors that have called, this is what we need you to do. We'll put a list together. And then we'll have a big live together and say, what do we need to do next?
Yes, sir.
It can be done. I'm telling you, it can be done with a lot less effort. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Torches and pitchforks.
Yeah.
About it.
I mean, look at Casey Fair. I cannot tell you how many people I saw Casey Fair walk up to that rendezvous. People that were locals that weren't aware of what was going on. And he said, look, this is Chris. He's fighting the good fight. And he's doing something that needs to be done. and we need to help support him. I saw Casey Fair say those exact words to half a dozen people that didn't have the slightest clue who Chris Watson was when we pulled up there.
That cost me $5 every time he said that.
Yeah, yeah. And
I just don't think people know what's going on, and
Yes,
we're in an age that social media. I mean, you're in Texas. Jeremy's in Louisiana. Now Derek, he just rode up on a motorcycle next to me one day and said, "You got a dog box?" And he said, "Oh hell, you're Chris."
Yeah.
At
I
an
just saw him in
intersection.
traffic one day. Yeah,
Mhm.
red light.
I've had people email me, say, "Hey, I'm not a stalker, but your right tail light is out on your Tundra. I'm just
Yeah.
going to the same concert you're at."
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like I'm not famous, but people know kind of who I am, I guess. Now.
I have 3 very, very good friends in my life today that started with, "Hey, I saw you had a dog box, so I pulled up behind you at this gas station."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had
Well, I had-
more conversations at a gas station with people who
Yep.
didn't know about dogs.
And man, the average person is so interested in what we do. I like where I
I
work.
mean, how long ago when they had that stupid freaking hog hunting show on A&E?
Oh, hogs and what was that? Hogs and dogs or
American
Hot Wild?
Hoggers.
Yeah.
American Hoggers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that guy was silly. Pistol Crystal and all them guys. You know, so I mean, and look at that. I mean, and I mean, that was a pretty somewhat popular little show for a while. I
Oh,
mean,
been
it
on for a
turns
while.
out that guy owed everybody in the world money, and then he made a TV show, so all the people he owed money to were able to come find him and file liens against the TV show, so they had to cancel it. And then look at the alligator hunters. Shoot,
Yep.
Oh,
shoot.
swamp
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Well, even Mountain Man has dog guys on it, and
Yeah.
if the dog guy goes away, they bring another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, where I work, all of our clients are not outdoorsy people. They're not our people. But every single one of them, because I stand out in that place like a busted finger. You know what I mean?
Like a Leica in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they all want to know what kind of dogs I got, what I do, what we blah blah blah, and every one of them are so interested. They're like these are suburban housewives, and computer programmers or accounting. I don't know, bankers and whatever. Like
Yep.
the regular people are so intrigued by what we do, and I get the, oh my gosh, I know I keep hearing about these bears in towns,
Yeah.
and like
And
you guys need
houndsmen
to.
are changing too. You know,
Yes, sir.
you're starting to get a lot of modernized houndsmen. It ain't the hard asses that you walk up to the gas station and say, "Man, what kind of dogs are those?" Mind your own freaking business. You know,
Yeah.
it houndsmen are changing too. You know, and now's the time.
Yes.
Now's the time.
I think so too.
I
Yeah.
had a 30-minute conversation with a guy you wouldn't expect to have anything to do or know anything about a hound. And him and his daughter were gassing up next to us, and he's like, "What kind of dogs are those? Those deer dogs?" I said, "No, they're coon dogs." He said, "Really? I ain't seen a coon dog since I was a kid."
Yeah.
You know, he's an older black gentleman, and
You'd be
he
surprised.
didn't look like a coon hunter. I just
Yeah.
put it that way.
You have to reach out. So when people do come up to you, you have to be that. I've had plenty of people that I've 30, 40 minutes explaining conservation and hounds and this and that just because I was at a gas station.
You may be the only dog man they ever see.
Yeah.
So you got to be the good face. Is like, I mean, there's people all the time that are like, "Oh my gosh, my kid would love that. How do I get him into this?" You know, and
Yeah.
and these are people because like they can't teach their son to go, hunt coons or bears or what have you. So where do I send him? Is there like a Boy Scout thing for this? Like, like we gotta. That's something that we need, is to be able to be like, yeah, send us an email right here. We'll figure him out.
And I think that's where it's important you know, like I live in South Texas, and you're not going to hunt down here unless you've lived down here because it's all private land. You need 15 freaking dogs to catch all these freaking hard ass cats consistently. There needs to be a lot of focus on what you can do on public land with one dog,
Yes, sir.
you know. And it's all the college kids with the black lab in the back seat of their truck,
Yep.
teaching them to retrieve dove and
Yeah.
duck. And it'd be the
And
same thing, whether it's squirrel
Yep.
dogs, coon dogs, you know, it
like us. Sorry.
like us. Yeah.
Pomeranians, poodles,
Pomeranian.
that little fuzzy
You know,
thing
and
that Cody
I'll
gave
tell
you.
you what's gotten very popular in the state of Texas is hunting has gotten more popular in the state of Texas as wounded deer dogs. And the
Here
wounded
too.
deer dog guys have started introducing the deer hunters to the dog world in a
Mhm.
positive way
Yeah.
because they need them. You know, the ungrateful bastards. But it the, these deer hunters eat that shit up. I mean, they you go out there with a wounded deer dog, and man, they think you're freaking Davy Crockett, you know, come to save the day, swooping in to save the day, and they just eat that shit up.
Yep.
And
They don't eat mine up because mine will get out of the truck, and if he starts coon hunting, I tell him real quick, that deer ain't dead.
yeah, yeah.
They don't like
So
me.
there's
There you
lots
have
of
it.
there's lots of opportunities. Sorry, we went off on topic for all everybody that's bored
Yeah.
listening, but
There's still 27 people on here listening, but it's 9 o'clock here, and where's it? 11 o'clock where you are, Jeremy? Or no, 12.
11:23.
11:30.
Yeah.
All
So
right, guys. Well, we'll make it happen.
Let's go.
yeah, no,
Cody, thanks for coming on and starting shit like you said you would. You did not lie.
see y'all in a couple of months. Norman Starling's gonna be coming to whoop my ass here pretty quick. So
Stormin' Norman.
I'm gonna tell him I live in
Show
Arizona and I hunt Lycas. Goddamn,
Hey,
If he
give him
look-
Benny's. Give him Benny's address.
yeah, let Benny deal with that son of a bitch.
Yeah, you see Stormin' Norm with a Zulu spear sticking out of him in the newspaper.
Yeah,
It'll make good. It'll
Nah,
make good
he'll
YouTube
chop him
content.
up and cook him as brisket.
yeah.
All
I
right,
tell
guys.
you,
Till next Wednesday.
the way Benny's been talking about that food's been making me want to go up to New Mexico just so I
Oh,
can
I
eat
know.
some of it. I'm tired
Right.
of listening about it. I need some of it.
We need to see how good that
I'll
is.
have to meet you there.
Hey, what's it gonna cost for Benny to cater the rendezvous next year?
I don't know. I'm sure you could give me.
You're
Well,
gonna
we sell
offend
the
Chris.
dinners. They're pre-bought dinners.
No, not the dinner. I'm talking about just feeding me 3 meals a day every other day except the dinner.
Yeah.
That way
Yeah.
you don't have to eat my tacos and my tamales.
I'm gonna tell you, I came up there and I flew up there, so I didn't have no choice. But next year I'm driving, and there's gonna be some different food around camp next. And no offense to Chris,
Hey,
but a man ain't meant to eat shit that's been in a can for a decade, and that's a fact. I don't care what anybody says.
You just hit the wrong camp, Cody.
He started chewing on the damn bones. They were so soft and rotten. It's
they
ridiculous.
were not rotten. They were
That was
cooked
cooked.
el dente.
I beg al dente. So
Hey, they were
next year,
good.
there's going to be some meat that is from this week.
I think I'm out of all my 2010, 12, and 14. It's all I got left is 2023.
Did you
24.
afraid that HEB's going to close tomorrow? A grocery store's going to close?
Hey,
I mean, you a
if they
doomsday
do-
prepper over there or what?
If they do,
all right.
I got enough food.
It's all right, Chris. Next year, Cody's going to bring some 4-day-old bobcat for you, and you'll be.
There you go. I'll
Yeah.
cook it. I'll cook it.
Yeah, no, I promise you, Cody is not gonna bring. Cody's gonna bring some fucking Texas grass-fed Angus steaks is what Cody's gonna bring.
There's some
So,
on the hoof out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're
that's if Casey
unmarked.
puts me up next year. Because
Unmarked.
me coming with my dogs, it's kind of contingent on Casey putting me up because I'm not pulling the
Casey put
gravel
you up.
trailer and I'm not staying in the tent. I ain't. I've turned
Well,
into a sissy, but I will sleep in my
Hey,
truck.
reserve. Just call Casey. You just tell Casey you're coming next year, and you'll have a bunkhouse.
I need that shower, man. That's
Mhm.
my main
I,
thing.
I I'm
Shoot.
making sure I
I
got
brought a
shower
shower.
capabilities next year, one way or the other. Hopefully,
Yeah,
my money's a little better next year. We'll have it squared. I've been
I
thinking about
packed
that.
one.
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
we's on late.
yeah.
You got
That's what
on just in
happens
time
when
for
they
us to get off.
invite me.
Yep. All
I
right,
do
guys.
this. I do this so they quit inviting me.
No, we'll
Wow,
invite
man.
you. It's good talk every time you get on.
Yes,
We'll see
sir.
you guys. Thank
See you,
you.
All
fella.
right. Later, guys.
All right, guys.
There you have it. 3 hours and 30 minutes. And we did talk a lot of politics in the end, but we did talk about what we were supposed to talk to in the first place. So, but if you want to become a member of the Arizona Working Dog Alliance, which Cody's trying to make the American Working Dog Alliance and go nationwide, you can go to azwda.com and sign up, or you can go to azwa.com and we have a raffle going on for Alpha XL, your choice of an Alpha XL, a 300, 3 TT25s, or $1,100 cash. So azwa.com, and we will see you guys next Wednesday, more than likely. Always remember, keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.
Well,